Hey, what up, jerks? How you doing tonight? Got a good night. Had a long day. Lot of dog walks and kind of journalism today happening in Essex Superior Court. I was there outside the court. I actually didn't go in today. I streamed it instead because it was available, and I was running behind. I had a lot to do, and it just worked out perfectly that we could get the stream up today, Kelsey Fitzsimmons, and then I could run over to court and kind of participate in the media scrum. There was quite a media scrum outside of the Kelsey Fitzsimmons Superior Court, Essex Superior Court today. Uh, yeah, more cameras, more camera people. It was WCVB. Didn't see them before. They were here this time. Channel 7, who's been in there in the past, was there. And also NBC Boston, who has been there as well. So three TV stations there covering it. You might see it on television tonight, hopefully. Also, the Lawrence Eagle Tribune, big newspaper in the state. They were there. They had a reporter. She's always there. And other people. It was Justice Served TV on YouTube and some other folks. It was a lot of media people. It felt like a real scrum outside the courthouse. And probably play some video. I'm going to go over definitely at least when I got to ask Attorney Tim Bradle some questions and we had some laughs. And there's a little inside jokes going on. Maybe you'll see. You'll see. We'll talk about it. But I have a huge guest. She's here. We were just chatting in the green room. It's great to catch up with her, see where she's at. There's a lot happening right now, a lot of news. We're gonna get through the news stories today. And what I love about her, people comment a lot about her generous gift giving to YouTubers. But my number one thing for her, the reason I love her the most, is she's a great friggin' guest. She delivers great content. She's an attorney. She's on point. She will say shit like that other people won't say, but it will be backed up with like, and she'll tell you how it is, whether it's her opinion or whether it's facts. And I really like this attorney that we have coming back on the show. And last time we had her on the Grace Curley show, last time I interviewed her, and it was like 11 minutes. I think we covered four or five stories, and she absolutely nailed it. Like we have a lot of guests on there, and it's a tough thing to do. I've done it myself as a guest on the phone, live radio show. You only have so much time to talk about these topics, and she nailed it. The first time she came on, she was phenomenal. And I just, like I said, she's a great guest. And I'm glad she's here tonight because we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Brian Walsh. We're going to talk about Proctor. We're going to talk about Karen Reed's civil case. We're going to talk about the maybe the other defense fund. Did you see this other defense? There's two new civil defense funds, one for Karen and one for the other folks that we'll talk about. And there's also a new DA race. It's not new, but it's like a new race for Norfolk County DA because there's a new candidate. Vote for Adam Deach is the website and the social media. We're gonna have talk about all of that tonight, and maybe some other things too. Let's bring her up. People know her. They're asking for her in the chat. Yeah, she is brilliant. A lot of women in the chat noticing. Attorney Nan Gallagher, welcome back.
Hi, how are you? Always good to be an honorary jerk.
Oh, you're honorary. Yes, you. I didn't know that anyone wanted that. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
yeah,
it's a lot of clout if I can become a jerk. And apparently I pay you. I pay you to have me on your show.
that's
So
right to be honorary jerk. And like John Como keeps asking for the jerk towels. That's his thing. He doesn't care about the honorary jerk. He wants the jerk towels, but we never deliver for him. I don't know.
Mike, every time I've watched your program, which is going on a long time now, I have to always remind you, it's like just sitting back watching my dad wash his cars when I was a young girl, listening to the radio. He'd be washing the cars, listening to the radio, and I'd hear the DJ. With this velvety smooth voice, and it always makes me think of you now. I find it very comforting to be in your presence, and I love your content.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it sometimes too. Sometimes my voice really I don't like actually. Like catch myself. I think I do good, and I listen back, and I'm like, oh my god, that didn't sound good. But it's funny. Some people like it. I don't know. It's like we're all unorthodox. I listen to Howie Carr. he does not have like what you would think of as a traditional slick radio voice, but he's so good. It's just his own
It's so good.
thing. It's funny. That's
And
the
that
thing.
was
Like he,
great being on the Grace Curley show with you. It was like rapid fire, and I had told you ahead of time I was going to be calling in from a meeting, and you were hammering me with questions, and I'm like, I know it's limited, I know it's short segments, and I'm literally standing in a outside of a conference room sweating, going, I hope I keep it going. I hope he doesn't cut me off. So it was a really fun first experience for me. Thank you for having me.
you totally nailed it. The last question was like about Karen. I think the civil trial actually is one that we were kind of
Yeah.
wanting to lead with, but we had so many stories that like, and I probably talked too much in the beginning, but we only had like 30 seconds and you nailed it. I was like, oh, she got it right in, right on. Like, you don't know, because sometimes they'll cut us off. Like, I've done
Yeah.
that the first week, like where I'm halfway through, like trying to get out of there and they just cut it. And it's like, oh, and we
Yeah.
nailed
I,
it.
I
We
was
hit the
sweating.
post. We hit the post. We like, it was so perfect. So I
Thank
want to
you.
thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you. You did it, and
Um,
you did a great job. You really, not just on that day, but congratulations. You really did a great job filling in for Grace. I was very impressed. And as someone from the New York metropolitan area, like I never even heard of Howie Carr, Grace
oh
Curley
my God.
until the last several months, maybe the last year. And I was like, wow, this is like, I really love their program. I love listening to all of their content. And I'm really proud of you that you got to step in. You did a great job.
Just for me, it is so wild because I grew up on Howie. Like, and
Yeah.
I protested Howie. I didn't like Howie. But I liked, I was still drawn to, I still listen to him because it's interesting. Like, especially when he does the local stuff and the local corruption. And when he did all the FBI stuff and the gangster stuff, the Whitey stuff, like the Whitey Bulger,
Yeah.
it's for me, I just can't believe I'm on there. Like, because I used to think like that. Like, that was like kind of a goal of mine. Like,
You
and
know
it
what?
happened. Like to work with Howie Carr. Like,
But you know what's
freaking,
interesting? Because again, I'm an outsider geographically, but I understand there may be a disjunction in political views
yeah,
between yourself and
totally.
those on his channel. And I will say this, like I'm not being political when I say this. I think that's wonderful that,
I know.
your political views and the interests that you have, social interests that have been important to you, don't play a factor in whether you were selected and asked to step in. Like, as a consumer of content, whether it's radio, which I don't consume much radio content, radio or YouTube, like I don't think that a channel should say, we're not going to have someone affiliated with our channel because of what their political alignments are. So I love the fact that people from different walks of life with different fundamental views on politics, socioeconomics, and the like are brought into different channels or stations to give their talents. Like that's one of the reasons why, to tie into what we started with. That is one of the reasons why I started on my own supporting content creators whom I have enjoyed watching. It's just to inspire and maybe take the edge off of things or put a smile on their faces and to let them know, like, I really like how you're doing this. I believe in what you're doing here. And I have to say, I like that there is a divergence in your politics with the Howie Carr or his station or channel, whatever you want to call it up there. I love the diversity of that because that makes for a more interesting experience as a consumer like myself. And I don't think I'm alone in that regard.
The thing about the politics too is like I don't do a political show anymore. I used to do more of a political show in the beginning, but
Yeah.
I've kind of like I don't cover politics like that anymore, especially on the I never really did on the national. It's more about local races and local campaigns. And I was kind of a libertarian Republican way back, and I have had tons of, Republicans on. For me, I'm feel like I'm more news oriented. And so
Right.
politics doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if you're left or right or third party. If you have something you're working on, you can come on the show and talk to us. And that's the thing about Howie Carr is they know I'm not a political guy. Like the people try
Yeah,
to make it out to be like it would be one thing if I was going on Howie Carr and doing politics and kind of going against everything Howie's saying. That would be jarring for the listeners and probably wouldn't work, honestly, on his network. And I understand that. That's why I would never do that. And but I don't do it on my own show, like because I'm not really interested in that stuff. I'm bored by it. I don't listen to those shows. What I'm
right.
interested in is more of the stuff I'm covering. So that's what I love about Howie and the mayoral manager over there and the whole crew. They just
Yeah,
say, "Do your show."
do
Like they
your
gave me
show.
totally programming that I book the guests, they make it happen, but I book the guests, I book the program, and they support it. And that's what I really love about them and just wild for me. And upcoming, I am going to be this is funny because I have like, obviously been a guest on Grace's show a lot. I'm a regular Friday guest on there, and I was hosting when she was out on maternity leave. And I have called into the Howie Cox show a few times in the past, and more recently, kind of as a guest. The day actually Karen was acquitted, I called in. Um, but I'm going to be hosting. I can't believe this.
Yeah,
This is wild. The Howie Cox friggin' show. Uh, the Friday after Thanksgiving, basically, and it's only for 1 hour. Howie's
one
going to be
hour.
out on a remote. He's doing a big book signing event, and the first hour he's going to be shaking hands and selling books and all that. So I'm going to be hosting the show from the studio, and then I'm going to throw it to Howie. He's going to finish his show. So it's going to be wild for me to be doing like the crossover with Grace Curley hosting, and then it's going to be wild. I can't believe that I'm actually going to be friggin' hosting. And this is what I wanted too, because they offered me like to do the whole show another date. And I was like, I can't do that. That's just too much. 4 hours of Howie Carr. I just can't do it, especially on that date. And so they said 1 hour. And I was like, I'm gonna open the Howie Carr friggin' show. It's
Yeah.
wild to me. It's
I'm
so
I'm very proud of you, but
yeah.
also make sure that you're not like intoxicated with tryptophan from eating too much turkey the day before. But
No, it's gonna
also,
be a week after. It's the week
oh,
after
okay.
this Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Okay,
The first
good.
Friday in December, basically. That's what we're looking
And
at.
but also like that's just really a feather in your cap because it means you're doing something right and you did it right when you were filling in for Grace. But also this may parlay into even bigger and broader experiences for you and your channel, which I'm a big fan of. So that's wonderful. I will make sure, and I'm sure you'll promote it. I will make sure that I'm listening for that 1 hour. And you'll probably
Great.
be, kind of hopped up and nervous the whole
Oh,
time, but it's great.
this is Mike Crawford. You listen to the Howie Carr show. I can't believe I'm going to be saying that. That's just wild. It's just
Good for you.
who would have ever thought? But
Uh,
anyways, enough about me. Too much
yeah.
about me. I didn't come here to be made sport of tonight. So let's get into why we have Nan Gallagher here, Attorney Nan Gallagher. Um,
Yes.
I mean, we have so much to talk about. I want to just start with Brian Walsh because
Yeah.
Brian Walsh is going on trial for murder next Monday. He made a plea deal. I mean, the immediate thing I thought about the plea deal is he's admitting that he did dispose of this body. I think you said this on LTL show last night. He didn't seem like, as far as we know, didn't give any information about where he disposed of the body. That's the great mystery, and that's what people are looking for. They never actually found the body. So where the hell's the body? Give the family some closure. You mentioned that. I just wonder what the DA's office is thinking, taking that plea like that and not having that, number one. And also, like, is that setting up his defense for the murder? Because I feel like he's almost saying, like, maybe it was an accident and then I panicked.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say this, having been in a position right before trial where the other side kind of pulls the rug out from under you, it's incredibly unsettling. It's you as a trial lawyer gear up and put your strategy together, and it takes months and months and sometimes years, but then in the acute days and weeks leading up to a trial, you've got to be preparing cross-examinations, direct examinations, how you're going to handle your experts, everything, how you're going to do your openings and closings. That all doesn't just happen the night before. So I think there was some strategy on the part of Brian Walsh's attorneys to kind of pull the rug out a little bit and take these pleas, which we can talk about, like what he pled to, and did he move the body, etc. Well, he pled to it, so what does that necessarily mean? I think what they were trying to do was surprise the prosecution and really get the prosecution in a position where they're challenged, because now they have to strictly prove that he is the one who, and I always get caught up with the YouTube words you shouldn't say, but he unalived her. So they've got to prove that he unalived her. And if there is a theory, and I was talking about this with LTL, if there's a theory or an approach where Brian Walsh is going to say, hey, I encountered her, she had expired, and I panicked. I didn't know what to do. So therefore I did X, Y, or Z. Okay, so now does that mean that he unalived her? The prosecution is going to have to narrowly tailor their presentation of arguments and facts to prove to this jury, every single one of the 12, and I guess there'll be alternates, that he indeed did. And that's where the digital evidence will predominantly be, in my opinion, the most important, looking at any texts, any Google searches or internet searches to look at surveillance video. I also know LTL, and maybe there were others who kind of posted images of Brian shopping. I think it was in Home Depot or some other home related store up there, where he's buying like the makings of a kill kit. Okay, well, that's going to show malice aforethought. It's going to show a mens rea, or a state of mind necessary to formulate one of the primary elements of unaliving someone. So it's really meant to keep the prosecution guessing and to, take the wind out of their sails a little bit. I don't fully understand what they were doing by pleading to this. I have pled out clients over the years, and I don't like to do that when the rest of the charges are going to trial, because I'm a believer, it's my paradigm, that no, the prosecution has to prove every element of every single charge that they have filed against my client, make them do the work. And inherently, my opinion, DAs are very lazy. They actually don't like to prove all of the elements of every single charge. In fact, they chronically overcharge defendants, and we saw that, in my opinion, on Karen's case. I mean, you want to talk about overkill in terms of what they charged her with, and that was done by upcharging her months later, which I think with Karen Reed, it was done to kind of shepherd her into hopefully pleading out.
Yeah.
So I think they're looking in Brian Walsh's case to make the prosecution have to work harder and to fluster them a bit. The prosecution does have its work cut out for them on Brian's case. Now, it's my view, even though he's innocent until proven guilty, like personally, as just a watcher, and I could never be a juror, I'm like, it really looks bad. This guy, my mind is...
He's an art thief, and he did it. That's what I look at.
Yeah, like, and I
Everybody knows he did it.
hate saying things like that, because
I know.
people say, "How dare you predetermine?" Well, I'm not a juror. I'm not reporting for jury
Exactly.
duty, and they'd punt me right away, not because of the fact that I'm not, not from the community or anything of the like, but I know too much about the evidence where I personally feel I could not remain impartial. But it sure looks like he was up to no good. But the prosecution has to prove every single element of that unaliving, that intentional unaliving. And I don't think they're going to, I don't think it's as easy as one might think it will be. And when you throw in, which we may be talking about, some of the shenanigans of law enforcement and the history that the more current history that's coming to light with some involved law enforcement, it gives jurors a picture that maybe there was some misconduct going on, or maybe it's a faulty investigation, and all it takes is one juror.
How about this
One juror.
Proctor? Because Proctor is part of this, and
Yeah.
because we saw the two Karen retrials. Trial one, Proctor was brought out as a witness, hung jury.
Yeah.
Trial two, prosecution didn't bring out Proctor. The defense didn't bring out Proctor. We thought they might. They didn't. Remember, we thought it
Yeah.
was a bad move, but it turned out to be the right move. Totally. Brian Walsh. Will the state put him on the stand? Number one. And if they don't, what should the defense? Like, what would you do? What do you think on both sides of this?
I love this question because I went through this analysis during Karen Reed, and I'm sure we all did. And
We all
with
did, yeah.
Karen's case, I was actually disappointed in myself because I was ping-ponging left and right. Like,
We
should they
all
call him?
were. Yeah.
Right. But I'm
I think when the defense final witnesses hit, like, because they had so many in a row that were like bang, 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 bang. It was like the expert witnesses, all of them just killed it.
and for me, I was disappointed in myself because, I am a lawyer. I've practiced criminal defense, so I'm like I should really have a consistent position on whether they should call him or not. And if I recall, Bettero also vacillated a little bit, and that's
Totally.
not a criticism. Like I
No,
think
we
it's
all did.
a natural.
We didn't know. The thing is, we didn't know what the defense really had.
We
Because
didn't.
when those witnesses hit, we were all like, "Oh, that's why." They just wanted it to be
Yeah.
about these witnesses. These witnesses are freaking experts. This is what they're saying, one after another, and it was just like,
Right.
you
And you
know,
never know, like,
Lopsato, Russell, and then the ARCA guys. I
and
mean,
then you
it was
throw
just
Canoni in, and
yeah,
like she's always the X factor of what's gonna happen. Like, is she even gonna allow stuff to
yeah.
go in? So back to your question then. Um, I do not think that the prosecution in Walsh is going to call Proctor because now Proctor has been terminated. Proctor did start his appeal. He then abandoned it. All of that is fair game. The abandonment of his appeal, if a judge allows that in the Walsh case, it leads to a very strong deduction on the part of the jury that they're allowed to deduce, okay, wait, okay, he lost his job, he filed an appeal, but he withdrew his appeal. So that means he even conceded he's a bad cop. So all of that should, by my analysis, come into evidence. It's admissible. It's completely relevant evidence that doesn't fit any other exception that would otherwise exclude it. It's not prejudicial. The probative value of it has meritorious weight. So I do not think that the prosecution should call Proctor in the Walsh case. Do I think they will? I don't think they will. And by not calling him, they're shooting themselves in the foot. They've got an uphill battle because when you don't call, and I don't remember, your chat would have to educate me or you would. I don't remember if Proctor was the lead investigator in Walsh or an investigator in Walsh. But either way, when you don't call someone who has had his hands on a case that has important, relevant testimony that you as a prosecutor need to prove your charges against the defendant, you're in my opinion, you're kind of insulting the jury's intelligence. You're hiding something from them that they might otherwise want to know. You're also implying to a jury that, well, yeah, like we have a strong case, but you can't ask the guy who has all this relevant information, i.e., former disgraced Trooper Proctor. You can't ask or listen to any of questions that might be asked of him because that might otherwise distract you from real issues. Juries tend to take things like that extremely personally. Um, and they'll draw their own inferences and say, well, why didn't they call him? And I've heard of that happening in jury rooms very often. I've seen that happen in my own practice where a lead investigator or someone who's substantially involved was not called to the stand, and I have been told after verdicts have come in by juries when we've been allowed to question them. The juries are like, "Yeah, we really didn't like that you didn't call this investigator because of his history or his lack of training."
Flag for
Like
them.
there,
It's a red flag for them.
it is, and that's the problem because Proctor and I don't know, but Proctor may have done like a very good job. And I think I heard somewhere along the timeline that he actually did do a halfway decent job with the Walsh case.
Seems like
Maybe,
most of his other cases weren't bad. That's the thing. That's what stands
yeah.
out about Karen Reed.
And that's the
Funny.
problem
Funny how that works.
if you do a halfway decent job in your normal course of business as a trooper, and then you allow yourself, my opinion, you allow yourself to get caught up in a covering up a conspiracy like in the Karen Reed trial, and you cross lines and there is bias and you do all these things wrong. What he's doing, what Proctor has done is he completely destroyed his career, his future. He's not eligible for a pension, not necessarily as a punishment for what he did, but he just didn't reach, now because of what's happened, he did not reach the necessary age to qualify for his pension. But he also destroyed his credibility. It's a huge blemish on what might have otherwise been a halfway decent reputation in doing halfway decent policing, perhaps. So I do think it's a red flag for the prosecution not to call him. I don't think they will, because they would lay him out for bear. The defense team on Walsh, and for the life of me, I don't remember any of his attorneys. But I will say that the defense team for Walsh is going to have a field day with him. I do not know if there's been rulings yet by the judge, and I don't know if the trial judge is going to be Judge Frenier or not. She strikes me as a pretty reasonable jurist, and I like her temperament and just her overall attitude.
She seems normal. She
Yeah,
seems
normal.
capable. Normal and capable.
Yeah, like she reminds me of judges I appear before regularly. So I
Yeah.
don't know if she issued any predetermined rulings or there's been in limines as to whether or not the defense can get into his disciplinary history and the like, or how much of, for example, his conduct as found by the review board on the Karen Reed case would be deemed relevant in the Walsh case. That's an interesting issue, and that may be decided. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's
Why
a
will we
hearing.
watching? That's why we'll be watching it.
Yeah, and I will be too.
Yeah. Stephanie says Tipton. It's Attorney Tipton. He's the
I
one
s-
who always has the Zoom issues. Remember that?
Oh, Tipton, because I was watching yesterday. Was it yesterday? Someday I was watching. There was a woman with red hair and a curly ponytail, who was standing next to him when he gave the plea. So sometimes I
He
don't
might
really
have a couple.
get into the
Yeah.
weeds of it, and half the time, Mike, I'm like listening with an
Oh,
AirPod
totally. Me
in,
too.
and
I
like,
I didn't remember his name either. I just all I remember is he had the Zoom issue. It's
yeah.
Tipton. Um, yeah, it's fun. Do you think? Let's say that the prosecution doesn't call him, like you
Mm.
said. What do you do with the defense? Do you call him, or do you do what
Oh
Karen Reed
yeah.
trial did in the second trial, and you just don't call him, but you use him as the boogeyman,
That's right. You did ask me
Michael
that.
Proctor?
Um, So old Nan, which by the way, apparently I'm old anyway, but prior Nan would have said, call him. Definitely call him if you're the defense, because you can then elicit from him some beautiful pearls out of the oyster and land your shots. However, newer Nan would say, no, make him the boogeyman. Allow yourself to draw adverse inferences at the time of closing arguments, where you can say to a jury, and they didn't even call him. Look at everything that's happened. And he was I don't know again if he was the lead investigator or an important one involved. They didn't even call him. They didn't bring him to you to ask the right questions. Because if the defense calls him, and let's just have a brief step back to Karen Reed. I know this was discussed frequently during her trial. If if the Karen's defense team called Proctor, they call him on direct examination, which means you cannot ask him leading questions. You can only ask him open-ended questions. And honestly, you never know the answers to those. He could be coached, he could be prepped by the prosecution, and he may not be willing to give as much as he's not willing to give. Like, he'll push back at a defense attorney because they can't lead him around with leading questions that we saw from Alan Jackson in trial 1.0 with Proctor. So I would say make him the boogeyman. If the prosecution in Walsh does not call him, which I don't think they will, I think that the defense team in Walsh should not either, and save their strength of argument for closing, where they do point and say they never called this guy. Ask yourselves why they never called him. But if I'm wrong, I'll buy you a Coke.
Perfect. I like Coke.
Yeah,
Better than a beer. Yeah.
but it's interesting. I At some point when it comes to it, I'm definitely going to reach out to you and say, "Hey, I was wrong," or "Hey, I was right, and here's why." But you can always feel free to reach out to me if you want any better
Yeah, and
understanding.
I don't think there's any wrong or right on this because these folks are gonna make a decision last minute, and it's whether it's wrong or right, we'll never even know because you don't know the outcome both ways. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just we all speculate. It's
And
just
and
interesting to see what happens, and
And
you
one of the
know,
things that happens, Mike, is sometimes it's a game time decision. Like,
right.
I'm not a huge
We don't know
sports
what they
fan.
know too. That's the other thing. We never know what all the info that they have and what they're going to present, how they're going to
That's
present
right.
it. And
And then there's attorney posturing. This is something I haven't heard discussed a lot. Many times during trial, because, we all see what's been televised, but what happens, there's hallway discussions. There's emails that are going back and forth between the attorneys. Attorneys posture, and I'm using that as a verb. I'll say to an adversary, I'd think twice about calling him because if you call him, I'm gonna XYZ. Or I've had adversaries say to me, call him at your own risk, but we've talked to him and he ain't gonna give you what you're looking for. That's posturing, and that will convey itself to natural discussions between attorney and client. So Tipton and Walsh as to, okay, look, we could call Proctor, but we're already getting a heads up that he's gonna not give up the ghost like we want him to, and it could backfire. I love that about the law. I love that about trial practice because of that gamesmanship that that real time contemporaneous changes on a dime gamesmanship, because it's fun. It keeps you on your toes, keeps your brain sharp. So we'll
yeah,
see.
it's
Yeah.
it's a wild thing to consider back and forth whether he's going to testify again. We'll be watching it. We'll
I
all
want to
be
see
watching it.
him. I do
Yeah,
want to see him because nobody's asked him a single question under oath that I'm aware
nobody,
of
nobody.
since the findings came down from the review board and since he withdrew his appeal because of the discovery of all of those inappropriate or salacious text messages dating back to, I think it was 2013. Like, I'd love to see somebody call him, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to happen. The
That's why,
risks
yeah,
outweigh.
that's another reason why I'm so looking forward to the Karen Reed civil trial too. Is hopefully he gets deposed there. We get to see that. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I want to number one mention that I'm also old. They call me the old jerks now, which has
Oh,
been that's been like a year or two. People started calling me that. It's funny. Like I'm glad. Like that's a sign of success actually.
I
Like
think it is
we,
too.
we used to be the young jerks who are these young yippasnappers crying about Howie Carr. now we're buddies with Howie now. It's just, we're now
Well,
we're
you
the
know
old
what's
jerks. I don't know how I survived that. That's like
Mike, I
glad to
did
be old.
my first stint on YouTube with you in January of this year. And I remember during that discussion, you had deduced based on our discussion that we're both Gen X.
We are,
And
and I think
I
I think we've aged like 10 years in that since that
Oh,
time.
yes. And I'm having a big birthday, very important one next month, and I have to say, like, I feel really good. I feel really good about my age. I feel really good about my Gen X stature. And I love the perspective and the ability to shrug a lot of things off that comes along with it. People handle that in different ways, and I intend to handle it in different ways based on personal choice. But I think it's a great badge of honor to reach a certain age. And that also lends a level of credibility and experience when I listen to you. You know, you have a breadth of experience. So I'm really, it's yet another reason why I love listening to you and your channel.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
You're
Nan.
welcome.
Attorney Nan Gallagher with us tonight. This is great. A lot of people watching. I love it. We're bringing some people out. I just want to read a couple of the super chats, a couple comments to Ocean Beach Ave, Ocean Beach Ave.
Oh, yeah, there you
Thanks for
go.
becoming a new member. And it's sometimes hard to read these because they mash them all together as user handles now. But I do my best. Mass at Heart, 4.99. Thank you so much. And our friend LTL Media, you were on a show last night. I was watching the show to kind of, get some
Prep.
ideas of what you guys were talking about and maybe ask some different questions, but some of the same material like the Brian Walsh.
Yeah,
I was listening. I love LTL, so make sure you check his show out too. People subscribe. He says two great hats, people. We both got hats on tonight. And he says with the throwback 90s Boston hat, yeah, kind of,
it
from
is.
these dudes that have been, yeah, I mean, it was, yeah, he's right on the spot. And then with the Rocky 4 newsboy hat, let's effing
Yeah.
go.
It's so
Yeah.
funny. Hey, Brian, if you're watching, I just said the same thing to Mike in the green room. I said, I got my Rocky Balboa hat on. Thank you.
We gotta have new
I rock
hats.
a mean hat, but I do love your hat, Mike, too.
I
And
love it
it's,
so much I wear it every night, just like I was wearing the jerk hat. People are gonna get mad. They're gonna be like, "You need to switch your hats."
I have,
I'm a creature of habit.
me
I like
too.
I'll have like 5 polo shirts that are the same, and I'll just wash them. So I don't always have, but it's the same fucking shirt, like because
I'm
I
the
like
same
that
way.
shirt.
But if you like a certain shirt or you like a certain hat, I'm the
I like
same
that. My
way.
girlfriend gets mad at me because of the way I cook too. Because like I'm always like I like the same things. I cook the. It's funny.
I'm the same
Creature of
way.
habit. Creature of habit, man. So, anyways, let's take a no
Yeah.
more about me. I'm talking too much about
Sorry.
me. I have a great guest. GI Josie Lou really throws down. Thank you so much. 49.99. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. She says, full blown conservative Republican here who loves Mike and Nan. Choose love versus hate. Thank you so much,
Thanks, Josie.
GI Josie Lou. And I gotta say, I'm pretty conservative with the way I live. And people sometimes say, "What does that mean?" Well, think about what it means. I don't like my mom. My mom, I love my mom, but she would never let us have any tattoos or earrings as guys and like
Yeah.
short cut hair. And look at me now. I still don't have any tattoos. I don't have
There
any
you
earrings.
go.
Like it just kind of like I don't know. The only thing I'm do that's wild is I smoke the weed. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty open about it. And probably the other thing is I do the
No.
YouTube. Like for me, like I used to not like I become someone who talks about himself, but that's not like me. Like usually in life, it's funny. Like so you put yourself on a camera. That's the other thing that's like probably a little bit out there considering. But everything else, I'm pretty
You know what?
fucking boring. Pretty fucking boring.
Let me just say something, Mike. You know, you've said a couple times, okay, enough about me, etc. But I'm telling you, as a member of your audience and audiences in general, viewers want to hear that kind of stuff. Like maybe you get, I don't know, I don't look at all your comments or your post stream comments, but I bet you there's people in your chat who would agree with me when I say, like, we also want to hear about you. You know, it helps humanize the viewing experience and helps lend credibility. to what you have to say. So definitely, as far as I'm concerned, I love that. I would say keep it up. And also, there should come a day. If I had a perfect YouTube day as a viewer, I would love to see on each of the channels that I watch, someone come in and interview you guys. Like on the Young Jerks, I'd love someone to come in and interview Mike Crawford and let you answer a few questions and
Have
learn
Jeff
more
Key
about
break me
you.
down. It'll feel like an interrogation. He'll come in and be like, Mike,
Maybe if
look at
I
it,
do
break
it,
it
it would.
down. But Mass Heart says, "Oh my God, I love tattoos." I gotta say, even though I'd never had a tattoo, I used to work with a tattoo studio called Stingray. I did a lot of the
Nice.
social media, video promotion, these little, kind of social media videos and interviews I did. And he's a friend of mine. Like we used to do, I used to do events with them. It's funny because I used to book a lot of events, and the guy that ran that tattoo studio, Scott Madeline, they would all laugh because I'd be doing all this shit over there promoting it, but I don't have any tattoos. I'm
I
the only
do.
person in the tattoo studio without any tattoos. It's pretty funny.
That is
But I like
crazy.
people with tattoos. Tattoos are cool, but just not for
Mike,
me.
you need a either a young jelly or a money Mike
No.
or a dog or a doggy
Yeah. The only thing
tattoo.
I would do, my brother got something, I think, for my grandfather. So I'd get something like that maybe for my grandfather or my buddy Michael Malta. That's the only time I've ever thought. I get that. Like I'm just saying, like I'm a pretty conservative guy, like personally how I live.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's just
Yeah.
talk about like I said, enough about me because I got so many topics here I want to
But you
get to
know, I'm
tonight.
sorry, Mike, but go ahead. But as for your audience, I have a tattoo.
You do?
Like
What do
that,
you have?
I have
That's
a
interesting.
major regret from my law school days when I was
Oh,
very stressed sitting for the
major
bar.
regret.
Yeah, but it's not a
Was it
great
Seabrook,
tat.
New Hampshire? What bar? Like where do you get tattoos after a bar? Because
I went
where I
to
used to
a
grow up, they go to New Hampshire. Now you can get them in Mass. But back in the day
well,
when I was a kid, you couldn't even get them in Mass. You go to New Hampshire. But
I
so where do you get it one?
I have a it's a chameleon. Like a lizard, but it's all different colors and it's
Oh,
on a non-visible place of my body. And I regret doing it because it didn't age well. I did it right before the bar exam 26 or so years ago, and it just didn't age well. So it is on my agenda to freshen it
touched up.
up.
Oh,
Yeah,
freshen
get a
up.
little
Yeah, you
touch
do it.
up.
Get a touch up. Yeah, make it look good. But
Yeah,
I
it's
love
gonna
it.
make it look good or change
Now we know
itself
all about each
altogether.
other's tattoos
There
tonight.
we go.
This is good.
So hit me with your questions.
I want to thank Michelle. She made a comment thanking me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Michelle. I saw it and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You're making me blush a little bit. Uh,
That's a good comment.
yeah. G.I. Josie, she had a question. So if he pled guilty to those two, the jurors don't get to even know those charges existed. I wonder about that.
Yeah.
Can the jury, will they know about that he pled out to those charges?
So the short answer, Josie, is I don't know. The
Yeah.
judge will
Depends what
have
the
to
judge says.
decide.
Yeah.
But I thought I did hear some analyst say that it will come. Some legal analyst, some pundit somewhere this week said, "Yeah, it'll come before the jury." I have had circumstances where it was not permitted to go before the jury because it would be too prejudicial if you do convey to a jury that there's been a plea of guilty on other related charges. So we'll have to see what the judge does. So I'm not 100% sure. Um, if these two pleas do go before the jury, I would recommend, if I were the defense attorney, that they stipulate, meaning both sides, defense and prosecution, stipulate to a statement to be presented to the jury explaining that while he has pled guilty to these two charges, it in no way, shape, or form implies guilt of the other remaining more important charge. Like, I would insist that the jury be educated on that. So there's not this, well, he pled guilty to that, so therefore he is guilty of this. That could raise appeal rights for him if he's convicted. So we'll see what happens, but I don't know what the judge is going to allow in this case.
word specifically, you never know. Jen, one of our mods says, I have 12 tattoos. So how many tattoos does everyone have in the chat, I guess, if you
Yeah,
want to
let's see some
share?
numbers,
Let's
guys.
see some numbers. Does anyone have more than 12? Some people have like, you can't even count it because it's just a whole body. It's like the whole
Oof.
sleeve. It's like
You know what's funny
the
though,
tattoo doesn't
Mike?
end.
When I kind of early on when I started streaming, I was wearing a lot of long sleeves and everybody, not everybody, a lot of people were speculating, "Oh, she must have like the sleeve tattoo, like she must be fully tatted up down her arms." And I hate to disappoint people, but I don't have
No, you're
anything.
clean. You're
Yeah.
clean.
Well, I gotta, I have a rep to protect. I go before judges, but I am contemplating not only enhancing my one, but getting another very special one very soon.
We got, we got seven. Everyone's telling us how many they got. There was one I just think I saw was how many was that? Did I miss a few? Yeah, 16. That's a
All I
see
can
that's
say to
I'm
your
too
audience is
frugal for that shit. Like I would not pay. Like I don't like oh my God. That's the
think
thing. I would
twice
be like,
about it,
I
guys.
could
If
be putting that money into investments and making money. That's how I think. Making money, Mike, right? Like
yeah, you got to make your
I was a
money.
financial advisor. You gotta make your money with your money. I'm not
That's
gonna pay.
right.
That's why I would never get tattoos. But
I I
anyways,
I
I'm
agree.
discouraged. I don't want to discourage it because I like the artist. The artist, I like the tattoo artists. Like God bless them. They got a skill. People like it. So and God, especially the legal ones who do it the right way and all that, health and safety.
Yeah.
Um, gives artists a
There's
way to be creative and make money.
I agree.
So yeah, there's so much with this Brian Walsh, but I wanted to talk about Karen Reed as it's pinned in the chat right now. The defense
Oh,
fund. It's what is it now? It's 6,265. I hope
all
people do
right.
donate. The reason I'm want to see it, grow is because I want to see her have the best civil attorneys on this. And I know it costs money and there's a lot of cost for witnesses and experts and flying them in and deposing these Mass State Police, these three guys that we always talk about, Tully, Buchanan, and Proctor. We want to see them deposed again, as well as these House defendants. I'd like to see them questioned again. Some of them didn't get questioned. Higgins, again, another law enforcement. Love to see him get deposed.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to cost Karen Reed a lot of money. People are talking about money, how much she should
Yeah.
be getting, how much she's not getting, all this other stuff. I just hope people support it. Do you want to say anything? Because
Oh yeah.
basically, a lot of people have been talking about contingencies and civil cases. I don't think her case is like something that people want on contingency because it's
Right.
so like unknown and the cost is so large. It's like I wouldn't invest in that. People have said we should invest in it and get a return. I'm like, I'm an investor. I wouldn't invest in that. I'd
Yeah.
rather donate to Karen because I don't think really she is going to win a lot of money. If she does win, she could get, I mean, you never know. She could get a couple $1 million,
Right.
but a lot of times you don't get anything, and I don't know.
Yeah.
This is like a long shot to me and it's going to cost her a lot of money, but I think she wants justice and I think we all want justice. And I want you to know what you think about it and contingencies. And
Mm.
what do you think about this fundraiser she's doing?
Yeah, because I've obviously seen a lot, heard a lot of discussion and differing views on the need for fundraising for her. And what I will tell you and your audience is based on my professional experience doing this for a quarter of a century, having filed civil rights actions, having defended wrongful death suits, all of a civil nature in addition to my criminal practice. Um, there I would be shocked. I mean literally shocked if her civil rights claims against the House defendants and in due time the Commonwealth and the I don't know if it's a city of Canton or borough or township of
Town
Canton.
again. Yep.
Is it a township there? Okay, so
Town.
that civil rights action, I would be shocked if that is taken on contingency. There's way too much risk involved in that. Obviously, that arrangement is arranged between her and her lawyers, But civil rights actions are notoriously not taken on contingency. Just so the audience understands, it's pretty self-explanatory. A contingent fee is where the attorney doesn't take a fee but agrees to take a cut of any settlement or judgment. At best, I think that she is paying hourly for her attorneys, and we'll talk about the additional things that she's paying for. But at best, she's probably paying hourly for her attorneys to advance those claims in the wrongful death action, excuse me, in the civil rights action, but possibly at a reduced hourly rate under a hybrid contingency arrangement where the attorneys in the civil rights action may be saying, hey, we'll charge you a lower hourly rate, and in exchange for that, we'll take a smaller cut of any settlement or judgment in that action. So she is likely and substantially likely having to pay hourly for the civil rights action. In the wrongful death action, where she's defending herself, as are the Waterfall and C.F. McCarthy's, under dram shop laws, those claims against the bars, she is likely covered by her insurance, whether it's her automobile insurance or her homeowners or a combination of the two. But what I can tell you from doing defense work on panels for insurance companies for years, and I stopped doing it because they don't pay very well. They do not pay, in my experience, a respectable hourly rate. These insurance carriers really pay a low rate. They don't pay an attorney's full rate. I can tell you in her wrongful death action that she is likely paying hourly for any discrepancy in like her additional attorneys. So if Alan Jackson, Liza Little, or anyone else that she has chosen to retain to enhance the body of lawyers that she has, she would be responsible to pay them hourly above and beyond what her insurance is covering for her panel attorneys. But even if someone were to say, well, yes, Alan would be doing this pro bono, Liza Little would be doing a pro bono, holding all of that aside, in both the wrongful death action, where she's a defendant, and her civil rights action, where she's the plaintiff, both of which will likely be combined. In my opinion, they should be combined all together, or at a minimum for discovery purposes, because it's the same fact pattern, same set of witnesses, etc. She is absolutely responsible for paying for her experts. And those, even by Alan Jackson's more recent interview, I think it was with Brother Counsel or someone else, he was saying like a lot of the costs were attributable to experts in that matter. That means ARCA gets paid for.
They're getting paid $500 to $1,000 an hour, from what I hear. Some of these
Who,
experts.
ARCA? Oh,
Yeah.
experts, yeah. Which is the going rate,
And you got to pay for the food and the lodging and the tickets and the cab fare. Think about
Right.
all that cost. That's a lot of cost for each one of them. And not
It
just
is.
cab fare from the airport to the hotel, but to the hotel to the court, and to the court and back, like,
Yep.
and to the hotel and back to the airport. Like, all of that needs to be paid for.
Plus
all
all
those
of the
expenses.
costs. There's
Yeah.
costs that are like deposition
Yeah,
transcript fees.
exactly.
There's going to be
A lot of
tons
cost.
and tons and tons and tons and tons of
Hundreds of
depositions in the.
thousands of dollars.
Yes, and I will tell your audience that the deposition transcript fees alone are actually outrageously expensive.
All right.
So she, look, I don't work for Karen. I'm not sending out this public message as a proponent for her
This is
because I'm a
reality.
paid.
This is reality.
This is
People just need
reality.
to know reality. This
She
is what is
needs.
driving me nuts. People don't have
She's
reality
going
in
to
their mind.
need the help financially to do that, while her freedom is not currently at risk because she's been acquitted, although there are looming possible charges for other things that people could whimsy about or not. What I will tell you is, the fact is, if she's advancing the civil claims in her civil rights action and defending herself in the wrongful death action, while maybe it's not life or death, in some people's views, and I respect other people's views. It is important in my mind for there to be very enhanced and robust, if people are feeling generous, financial support for her in this mission, because, and this is the most important reason, Mike, the civil actions are where the answers are going to come. That's where you're not going to have a judge like Canoni gatekeeping to the extreme. That's where you're going to get the granular, real assurances as to possibly what happened. And moreover, in addition to that, the real answers, that's where you're actually going to start seeing the true depth of misconduct. You might even see behind the curtain of what went on with Morrissey and Lally and all the BS that was associated with that. And that naturally, as these facts start coming out and becoming more self-evident, that naturally may truly cause a shift for the better in improving the corruption up there in Norfolk County, and or Plymouth, or Massachusetts in general. As the more transparency and answers come out, you're going to see hopefully a reduction in all of the bad things that have been going on. And in addition to it, and I know it's a long answer, but these civil actions where we get the answers and we start seeing how the sausage is made, we also hopefully will get what everyone talks about, which is justice for John O'Keefe. And that is
So
one of the
that's
things
the
that is
goal.
near and dear to my heart.
That's what
But
that's another reason that this
yeah,
people should, and I get some people don't have the money. It's Christmas, all that. I get it. But I don't think people should be bashing this because we want justice for John. We want these people deposed.
yeah,
I want to get video of it. Hopefully, there's some video recording that we can get access to later as well.
yeah.
We have some comments. I just gotta say, like, I'm loving who's in the chat. I see Boozy Beauty's here. I love
Hey,
her. Thank you
Boozy.
so much, Boozy Beauty. And
Love her.
Mazza Media. There's so many good people in the
Mazza.
chat tonight. I'm just loving. He said, great post-interview coverage today, Mike. We may play some of that. Thank you so much, Mazza Media. That was fun to do today. It turned out perfect for me and everybody else. It was great.
Is that far from you, Mike?
No,
The court?
well, I don't
No.
like to say how far away I am because,
No, I didn't like, I don't need to know down
yeah,
to the
but it's
like
not too
decimal
far. Not
point.
too far. It's good. I can get there. Um,
And I know I keep seeing a repeated chat in your chat from, I forget the name of the person, but someone has asked a couple times about, can the House defendants transfer assets to avoid uh, accountability financially in this matter? And I figure I should just answer that because it keeps popping out to me. Um, yes, the House defendants, they I can't say they're probably doing it, but they could try to spoliate their financial net worth. Any good asset protection lawyer, like we offer asset protection services at my law firm, any good lawyer will tell them, get your affairs in order because you may be on the hook for this. Now, I do not know if any of their conduct is covered by their, for example, homeowners insurance, although I dare say it's not, because their alleged conduct is intentional and willful and wanton, etc. But yeah, they could start transferring and spending down assets to
I mean,
make
don't you
themselves
think they
judgment
probably
proof.
some of them already have in a way when they start
I
selling the
do.
houses? That's like it. So the
I
more
do.
time they have, the more opportunity they have to kind of do that type of thing. So,
Yeah.
and
So I
that's the
mean
thing about civil
it's
suits. They take so long. They take so long. It's going to be years. So, we'll see what happens on that.
yeah.
There were some other things. Oh, what about this other? Let's bring this up on the screen. Actually,
Go
let's
for
bring
it.
first thing I want to bring on the screen. Actually, hold on. I gotta stop sharing. The other thing, hold on. Oh no. What did I just do? I'm hitting too many buttons, Nan. As
That's
long as we don't
okay.
unplug
Well,
the
we're
whole
old,
system.
Mike. We're old jerks.
Yeah,
So it
I'm
happens.
not really. Well, actually, you know what? We're gonna ask about this. I have so much to ask you about tonight. It's so funny. We could be
Um
here all night, Nan.
That's
Which one do I
okay.
want?
That's what
Which
he
which one?
said. No, but I'm enjoying
Oh,
it.
here it is. This is the one I'm looking for. Look at this.
Oh man,
Alberts,
are you gonna
McCabe's, and
make?
Higgins crowdfund legal expenses as civil
Ugh.
case heats up. Silence is no longer an option, they said. It's time to stand up. Financial support is needed to defend the truth.
Mm.
So they have this new campaign, this Give, Send, Go. Take a look at it here.
What are they up to now? I had last heard it was
They're up to
40,000.
52,000. Karen's
Okay.
got six.
Okay. Can I speak to this, Mike? Thank you. First of all, this is sleazy, but they're allowed to do it. Second of all, it does appear that I heard, and I think it's accurate, that Yuri Buchanan actually shared a link to this fundraiser, which is disgusting, and also will present a huge, huge problem for him, because it definitely undermines his impartiality. He is not only a fact witness, he's an investigating officer. He gave testimony in the criminal action. His hands were almost equally all over Karen's case as Proctor's were. This looks really bad for him and does pose a conflict related problem. But in addition to that, the House defendants are allowed to do this. I don't love the fact that anyone with a straight mind could even remotely think of donating to it, and it's up to 52,000. That's ridiculous. However, with all of that said, I I don't love that people, and I say this very respectfully, I don't love the fact that people are looking at this now and saying, hey, it's 52,000 versus 6,000 for her. I don't look at this as a competition. I dare say, and I don't know because I wasn't assiduously studying Karen's Defense Fund back in the day when I first started watching and getting involved in this case. But it takes time. Like what has happened here with the House defendants, $52,000 in X number of days, that's actually exorbitantly and exponentially high. But $6,000 in just a handful of days, that's actually a more normal projection of growth. So I don't love the optic as it relates and is juxtaposed against the House defendants numbers, but it it doesn't bother me as much as it does seem to be bothering some people. I
Right,
have,
because the
yeah,
House defendants have more opportunity to raise money, obviously, because there's more of them, number one. So,
yeah,
and think of all the family members they have. Some of these, there's
yeah.
a lot of
Like
family members. And number
I,
two, you also have they're splitting the money.
they're splitting the
So,
money,
so how
and
much? It seems like actually Karen's got more if you look at it that way. But it
it's
just,
a
the
fair
thing about
point.
Karen too is like if people are in it for the long haul, that's the key. She started off, I think it's fine. Like basically in 24 hours, it was like 5, 6 grand. So, it
Yeah.
hopefully tomorrow it's 12. I mean, that's the key. Is it going to be? Will people keep donating and do the kind of fundraising they did in the past? I hope so. And
Well,
it's like she's got plenty of time too. Like, so
she
we'll
does,
see what happens.
and also this is, using your investment history and professional background, Mike, like it, and I don't have any background like that, but wouldn't you say that anyone who's investing and donations to a GoFundMe like this is an investment? You believe in something, you're making an investment. But
True.
wouldn't you, given your professional history and background in finance, wouldn't you be saying to clientele, like, you want slow, sustainable growth? You don't go
Totally.
for the big investments that pay off immediately and pay in dividends right away, exorbitant amounts of money, because those are the flash in the pan things that actually fizzle out. Slow, sustainable growth is a more investment savvy way to approach these things. But I do feel like it upsets me on a personal level that, and I don't mean any offense to anyone's views, everyone's views are their views, but it upsets me personally that some people are choosing not to donate to her because of one reason or another that has nothing to
Well, I
do.
hope they start thinking about Yuri, Proctor,
Yeah.
Tully, putting them on the stand again, putting
Yeah,
Brian Higgins back on the stand, putting Jennifer McCabe back on the stand. I hope they start thinking about that aspect
I
to it.
do
And
too.
I think people have time. I think over time people will realize, and I think that more money's going to come in. And we just refreshed it, and it went up. Like that's what I want
There
to
we
see. We
go.
have it pinned in the chat. I want to thank whoever just donated. It's those small donations, they add up. As long as those are coming in, they're trickling in, it's good. So I hope people do kick in and support Karen. Maybe do some more YouTube fundraisers or in-person fundraisers.
Yeah.
I hope
I,
people do support it.
I'd be I'd always be down to do any fundraiser for Karen. And as someone who has gotten quite a reputation, good or bad, for
Mhm.
donating not only to defense funds but to content creators, I say this from experience. Anyone can choose to exhibit and exert their own free will to make a determination based on their financial stability and their whim and their desire to donate to whomever and whatever they want. Like for example, I donate to all different causes, and I don't feel that these causes are at odds with one another. So I just want everyone to make their own decisions and to do that based on your own volition and your own free will. And I do intend to continue my donations to whatever I want based on my financial stability and my free will. So I hope the same in everyone else.
Fact, I want people to think about too is that Karen right now is still paying
Mm-hmm.
for a legal defense attorney for criminal. This news story just came out today. Boston 25 News. 25 investigates the behind the scenes battle over Karen Reed's phones. The phones are still, they're still trying to get into Karen Reed's phones
Oh
with the
my
passwords
God.
so that they can indict her with Aiden Carney Turtle Boy. The story's right here. Cosgrove is talking about it. He's saying he did this before anyone could say there was any retribution. They're trying to kick it out because obviously, you know, Brian Tully, who's part of this, is getting sued by Karen Reed. So this could get tossed out, but they're still trying. This whole story is like the latest today. She's paying an attorney. She's before Judge Peter Krupp.
Ugh.
That's who's hearing this stuff. And it's about her phones, and they're still trying to indict her. She's still paying for a criminal defense attorney. And I would not be surprised. And this is
Mm-hmm.
what Karen's dealing with right now. This is what, you know, I
Yeah.
talked to Karen a little bit. The only thing she really tells me about any of this stuff is her fear. And we talk about it because, like, for a month or two, I had heat on me way back. People remember.
Yep.
I was shitting my pants. I was. It sucks. And the problem with that is you never know when they're going to show up. And you don't know, I was worried about my dog, and I was just telling her about that. And she's telling me, like, this is my life, like, even now. Like, she,
Yeah.
she hasn't had a break from that. For 3 years, she didn't know if they're going to show up at her house again and arrest her and search her house. And she's still worried about that. Like that is still
Mm-hmm.
hanging over her head right now. She still has a criminal defense attorney that
Yeah.
she's paying over the cell phones, and Cosgrove is still trying to put her in jail.
Well,
So
you bring up a couple points here which are absolutely worth noting. One is that she's still paying for a quote criminal attorney,
yep.
which is a really good point, and I actually hadn't even thought about that. So the
And
way
people are missing
lawyer
that.
And the
Uh,
way
it's
lawyers work, like we have retainer agreements with our clients for different things. So if I'm representing, and I do this often where I'm representing a client for a criminal matter, and I may represent him on a civil or administrative matter. That's two different retainers, two different ways of billing for my services for them. I'm keeping things siloed. So I didn't even think of that. Yes, she is
guy's name
still.
is, it says right here in the story. It says Reed's newest criminal. So this is a new criminal defense attorney. His name's Benjamin P. Urbellis.
Okay. Yeah, by the way, this is another reason why I watch the different content creators because like I'm not looking at the internet. I get my news from content creators. So now
Yeah,
I'm getting up to speed.
I
The
do
other
too, a lot.
so now
Sometimes
I
I'll
know
use
she
their material, but yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
But
this
see
is
now
brand new
I
today.
I see
And
that she's got a new criminal attorney. She's paying for a criminal attorney still. But in addition to that, I don't like an analysis, and I've heard some give it respectfully, that some people are saying, well, you know what, there's nothing's going to happen. You know, she'll get her phones back, or the exposure to her is minimal. And I really, truly mean, I just very respectfully disagree with that because until she gets those phones back, and even after she gets the phones back, she's probably not going to breathe easy because there is a risk they're still going at her. I don't know if you saw Microdot's most recent video, it was about 33 minutes. Um,
most of it, yeah.
it's good, and he addresses this very issue towards the latter part of his more recent video, which came out in the last couple of days, where, you know, like they're still going at her. This is retribution as far as I'm concerned. So until she gets those phones back, and there's reasonable likelihood that it's going nowhere, and that could be tied to, you know, let's see what happens on Aiden Carney's matters. You know, he's got a hearing December 5th. The last I heard, nothing came out from Cosgrove, but the point is, like, they're being looked at, and until there is a reasonable likelihood that things are going to quell and not advance as to her, she has every reason to remain on guard and concerned, in my view, and B, to remain as quiet as possible. That's my view. I don't think she should be coming out there. I know we're not really, you didn't ask me this, but I don't think she should be coming out and
That's
publicly
why she's
talking.
not. That's another
Yeah,
reason why she's not going to go on any shows or give any
yeah.
public statements about any of that stuff.
That's
It's
just like
obvious. I mean,
my view on it. Like I don't criticize anyone who has a differing view, but I don't think there's anything problematic with her not coming forward on that. I believe, and I don't know firsthand, she will when she's ready, but the risk is still real to her. It's an appreciable risk that they may try to find something. And even if they're not, even if the Commonwealth and Norfolk County, through their shenanigans, are really just not doing anything but just tormenting her, and nothing's ever going to come of this. Okay, but until that's abundantly clear, then she needs to, in my view, remain guarded and worried that something could backfire. It's really upsetting to me that she can get acquitted. I was talking with someone about this this afternoon. She can get acquitted on those two main charges, and post verdict, you've got these, as I said, shenanigans going on with the prosecutor's office. I think it's unprecedented. It's disgusting
they've already
that they
tried to indict her for the same charges and failed. That's what
right,
really bugs me. Is like it's like they can take as many swings at it as they want, and they can just
right,
keep you in legal, even if they don't do anything. She's still afraid that they're going to come to her house like any moment. Like that
right.
sucks. Like
I
that
mean,
just to live like that. It sucks that they're going to go through your shit again. And
yeah.
for both Aiden and Karen, I think they both have
Mhm.
PTSD from this shit. Like this
And
is
I understand that for both of them. I feel badly for both of them.
oh totally
I would not want that looming fear that something
no
horrible is about to
no.
happen, and throw in on top of that the fact that there is absolutely no trust with law enforcement there or the prosecutor's office. So it's not just, oh, I fear something bad is going to happen or might happen,
Was that
but
your
it's,
house or my house? I heard
yeah,
something fall. Was that your house?
no,
Did you
wait.
hear that? Did you hear it?
No.
Something fell down. I don't know. It was loud. I'm like, what is
Okay.
that? I might
Guy,
have to go
I
check out for a second. But
go
sorry
check it
about that.
out.
It was kind of loud. I don't know.
I
Maybe
hope
probably
my
one of the
kids
dogs.
didn't I hope my kids didn't get into any trouble because I'm a
I
bad
think it
mom
was
and I
my house. I'm
neglect
like
them.
this. I'm like, what the hell's um
Yeah, so
fine.
no one trusts law.
Hopefully it's not the knock on the door. We're talking about. Uh,
Is it the
we,
ice cream truck?
maybe I need to create an ice cream. Josie Lewis says, not sure if you saw, but approximately 902 documents exchanged, including Commissioner Cox, include the name Karen Reed, resulting in 14,555 pages. I haven't heard about this. This is probably new stuff, but
No, I did not. But
I wonder if
Josie's
that's
so good. Like she sends me, I'm sure she sends other people things, but I did not hear that. And as I was talking about it with Brian and LTL and Todd McGee last night, like this case just keeps on giving, and I don't even mean that in a kitschy kind of way. Like there's so much stuff that keeps coming out that is causing a need for more discussion. That's crazy, Josie. Thanks for letting us know.
sure if this guy Fox is going to survive. I keep saying, we saw Rafferty go down, we saw the state police go down.
Oh my
It's
God.
Cox is next. Cox is the next guy to go down. That's my prediction. I'm on Cox. I think he's the next. It's obviously where there's smoke, there's fire on him.
And I really enjoyed your discussion with Mr. Crawford. I don't remember his first name.
Jamal.
Jamal. I thought that he's fantastic.
Yeah.
By the end of that, and if anyone in your audience hasn't seen that, I think that aired on Sunday. Go back and check Mike's prior lives from a couple days ago. Your discussion with Jamal Crawford was so, like, just so substantively interesting to me, and I had never heard of him before. And I too, like, I think at the end of your discussion with him, you're like, oh my God, like it felt like we were talking for 30 minutes. I was sucked into that. Great job with him. And I think he's a wealth of information.
He's great. He does a lot of good work. He's well known.
Yeah.
The city of Boston definitely he's a lot of people just talk about him in hushed terms.
Yeah.
Like, cause he's on that level. He's very serious. He gets shit done. He does the right thing. He has a great reputation. Everyone from the bottom to the top respects his name, and he'll let you know. Like if so, he's a special guy. New Hampshire dude 603 says, "Love you, Mike, but I love Nan more. Happy Taco Tuesday to all." Is that a good comment or what?
Aw, thank you, NH dude. Appreciate it. That's great.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. And people commented on Jamal too. So thank you so much for bringing his name up.
Yeah, he
Um,
was
n-
great.
yeah, he was. He's a great guy. He looks out for me too. It's funny. One time, some shit was going down. He's like, Mike. He calls me up. He's like, "Do you know how to protect yourself?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm a former wrestler. I don't, uh,
I
I
heard
don't need
you
anything but my
mention that.
bare hands, dude. Unless the dude's bigger than me and's been trained, I ain't worried about it.
Well, let me
If they're
tell
bigger than
you.
me and haven't been trained, I ain't worried about it. Like they're going down."
Well, let
So anyway, new DA race.
yeah.
Adam Deitch just threw his
Deitch.
name in. Deitch. How do you say it?
Well, I was on the fence, but he has said it himself. It's Deitch.
Deitch. See, I got to learn that because I hit them up and they got back to me. I got to send the email back. I forgot to send the email back, but they are like when they threw that video out and just did the announcement, and I put a poll up. Judith Perkins, like the last poll we did on our Twitter, she was leading the field 2-1. She's the clear front runner. I was calling it like if no one else gets in the race, she's the next DA. Now this dude just, I think, took the lead, but we don't really know because Juna has been doing that ground game. She's friendly with a lot of these locals, so we'll see. But this guy took the headlines and he took Free Karen Reed community because when I put the poll up this time, it was like so overwhelming for him. She was an also ran. Like I think Morrissey was in like second place with like 1% or something. Like this guy, he really has captured the Free Karen Reed community immediately, and Bill Reed has spoken about it. I think Karen's even supported him somewhat on Facebook What do you think about this Adam D? Say his name again.
Whatever. It's Deitch, but it Deitch
Adam
Deitch.
Deitch. Deitch. Deitch. I'm gonna
First of
say it a
all,
hundred times. Adam
Mike,
Deitch.
you know what's funny? This is yet another example of like I listen primarily to YouTube as opposed to watching it sometimes, and I'm seeing in your chat like some of your ladies in your chat are like, "Oh, he's a hunk, he's a hunky guy." And the funny thing is, I haven't seen a picture of him. I keep listening. I'm not looking. I haven't seen a picture of him. I didn't see his political ad, so I don't know. I'm gonna have Raccoon Girl. I'm gonna have to check it out. I don't
It's a
know.
good
Is
ad, and it plays to Free Karen Reed too.
well,
Like
that's
without
the
saying it, the what they show can't like he really. It seems like he really knows what's going on. That's the thing that's
yeah.
so beautiful about this. Like Juna Perkins, I feel like that's the whole problem with her. She needs to catch up. She know all the details. Like this guy knows every detail of all
So
these little scandals.
here's my answer to your question. Um, he's gonna win. If he is, I'm calling my
You're
view right
calling it.
now.
See,
Yeah,
I would say right now I would say it's 60-40. I'd say
yeah, I know.
60% chance he wins. But the reason I give her 40 is because she's been doing that ground game. And that
She
ground game is
has.
going to be important in terms of she already got some early endorsements from people that matter locally. So we'll
Yeah,
see. But I'd say he took the lead. He definitely took the lead. If I had to put money on it, I would put money on it. But you're
he's
calling it now, which is probably the way it's going to turn out, honestly. But you know
well,
what's so
it's
exciting now is we actually have a race. Even if
yeah.
Morrissey drops out, there's going to be a real campaign here. So it's kind of exciting.
Well, and it's interesting because I know Juna's been on your show and I've been listening to her. I have been feeling personally all along since she entered that she needs to do more. She needs to have shown up where it mattered and really be a little bit more vocal, and I feel like she has fallen short. Now, I'm a very opinionated person who kind of tries to get out there, and I have found she falls short with that. That's my view, not that of the channel. With that,
I
with
think
that's,
my advice for her is she needs to get a video. Like I told her to do
yeah,
some YouTube video type things, and she did those. But those are just like on issues. She needs like a slick campaign video like this guy put out because he put out
yeah,
that
but
was like the first thing he did is have the professional campaign video, and she needs
yeah,
that. She should have put hers out first. I think that was her big mistake, honestly, beyond the other criticism people give her. But I think that was the one I would definitely say like she should have she should have already had her video out. She needs to if she doesn't have one, she
yeah,
should have one soon.
but
But I
also
think it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens on this campaign. It's like
it's very poetic, like you said. Now we have a race, like it's very poetic. You've got a recently former federal prosecutor who was involved in the Karen Reed matter, who has prosecuted cases with similar themes that touch upon these important cases down in, excuse me, up in the Commonwealth. So I do feel that he is exceptionally qualified. I want to hear more from him, but I think he's going to win. If and also those who she, meaning Juna, has secured endorsements from, and she's been doing the groundwork. Um, I don't know. Some endorsements might change, and she may bow
that can
out. She
happen,
may
and
bow
she
out.
may too. That's the key. Like this is the problem. This is what I fear. Someone said Charlie Jalen said I like Perkins, but if Meatball stays in the race, I hope one of them drops out. I mean that, or even if they don't drop out, I hope everyone just consolidates behind one. Like I hope we
Hmm.
definitely know before election day who's going to win this race, which I expect. I think most people are going to pick one or the other, but it'd be wild if they both ran strong campaigns and it was evenly divided and there was even a chance Morrissey could win. But I don't see that happening. I think, we'll see what happens. I think
Do we
Morrissey will probably still
officially
be.
know he's not running? Like I know
No, he
Bradle's.
hasn't said anything. I mean, he hasn't collected any money. He collected
Yeah,
maybe $200. We know he did an event like maybe 5, 6 months ago, which Juna Perkins went to, which is a Quincy Democrats, like, whatever those events, those town committee
yeah,
events they have. He came and, basically spoke, which is, with Juna Perkins there, and it's basically a campaign event. So he has done like one campaign event a little while back, and he made a crazy statement that Juna Perkins, basically talked about on Grace Curley that, he basically said Sandra Birchmore, he still felt like she killed herself. Like, so
Yeah,
he still
yeah.
felt like, so it's wild. He's just like, but he hasn't really. I mean, he hasn't said he's not. I expect he'll make that decision after the new year. That's what I bet he's just waiting for the polls to see, is there any chance I can win? I mean, strategically, that's what he's thinking about. Like, can I actually win? Is there any chance I can win this? And you don't really know, until you're like 6 months out or 9 months out. So we'll see. Like,
And honestly, like it's not uncommon for a sitting position, a person in a position of elected authority like Morrissey, to read the tea leaves and determine, hey, can I actually win, and to bow out. But with that said,
that's most likely. I mean, that's
right.
everyone. That's what everyone believes is going to happen. I believe it's going to happen, but you never know.
But
But
with
the only reason
its
I think he would ever run is if he thought he could win, and I don't see that changing. Like, I don't think in February that's going to change, or March or
right.
April. So I think in the end he's not going to run. I mean, because
But
the last poll was 6%. That was his poll
was it?
number. Like, that's the lowest poll number I've ever seen for an elected official. So I don't see how he comes back from that.
But I will say this. If he reads the tea leaves and has crappy poll numbers and decides not to run, which is a very common thing to happen, holding all that aside, after all that he has done, the, in my opinion, unethical hostage negotiation video that he put out before trial one, all of the bad legal decisions that he made, ranging from the minute she was arrested and thereafter, all of it, the mishandling of everything in his office down to his own staff and decisions on evidence related issues. If he doesn't have, as I say, the intestinal fortitude to actually stand up and face his constituents and run, that tells you everything you need to know about him. So I know, I mean, I think he's going to bow out. I had heard Bradel said no, he's not going to run, and I guess that's not been officially confirmed. But wouldn't you all want him to run and lose? I know I would like to see that.
To see that in a way, actually. That's
Yeah.
that's my preference, is that he runs and gets smoked, because I would love to see him try to do more campaign events. He was trying to do
Mm-hmm.
campaign fundraisers early on in Free Karen Reed. Free Karen Reed people were showing up and supporting. Even some of his
Good.
supporters were telling us what was going on in there. It was like that crazy. And I love that. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do, is to show up at campaign events and protest them. Like, that's like the best thing ever. So hopefully he does run. I would love to see it. It would be so much fun, actually. It would be a lot of fun. Um,
I
Anything
would
else that we
too.
didn't discuss tonight? Oh, Kelsey Fitzsimmons.
Oh,
I do want to
Kelsey.
talk about that, but I need to check. I'm hearing these noises.
Go.
I want to make sure everything's all right, and I want to hit the bathroom real quick.
Knock
Do you
yourself out.
mind sticking around for a minute, or do you have to run? What do you think?
No, I'm here.
All right.
I'm good.
So what I'm gonna do in the meantime, I'm gonna put this video on
Yeah.
of Tim Bradle, and we'll hit the bathroom. If you want to step out for a second, you can step out, and we'll come back. How about
I'm
that?
here.
We'll do
I'm
that.
here watching.
All right. So I'm
You
going to
take
put
your
that up on the
time.
screen. Let's
Just keep in mind I can't stop it. So if it stops, I'm
no,
just
no.
gonna
It's not,
yap.
it's yeah, it's like, I'd
I think it's
say,
15
yeah,
minutes.
it's 15 minutes. So we'll play it,
All
and
right.
then we'll come back. We're going to take a 15-minute intermission, and then we'll come back.
Great. Enjoy.
Perfect.
You raffle and you win the
Yeah. It is on. Hey, Mr. Brittle, can we ask you a few questions? How's everybody? Good, how are you? So we'll get to everybody. We'll answer everybody's questions. Take your time. We got everybody. So who wants to go first? Martha's going to take the lead here.
You seem to be asking a lot of questions about potential police misconduct. Do you have any indication that there was a Proctor-like conduct in this case?
So just before we get to that, I just wanted to make one statement that we feel we made some progress in court today in terms of discovery. It's important to move forward. Kelsey Fitzsimmons, of course, we believe is innocent. She believes she's innocent. She looks forward to her day in court. So we are working towards that, and we are confident that we will get there. There's a lot at stake for everybody, obviously. And you can see the judge understands that this case should go to trial, and Kelsey Fitzsimmons looks forward to her day in court.
And now about my question, is there any proctor-like conduct of any of the do you have any
I'm going to
indication?
give this to Attorney
Sure.
Brado.
Discovery's ongoing. You know, you do this in every case. We're not suggesting there is or there isn't. We're saying we want to know. So that's what our motions are all about. And let's see what the Commonwealth comes back with. We don't want to disparage anybody has a clean record, but to the extent somebody doesn't, we want to know about it.
Do you have any information that we don't know about that?
Mike, excellent question.
You know why I'm asking.
Right. We have to go slow. I know the case is frustrating. The pace of these cases is frustrating, especially when someone is wrongfully in custody, as we've contended here, that there's no reason Kelsey should be in custody. This case should be handled, as they say, she should be helping to defend this case from the street. And we have a lot of faith in our SJC appeal, and we have a lot of faith in the SJC and the Constitution that she's going to be defending this case from the street very soon. And so we're very optimistic about that. Meanwhile, we can come to the Essex Superior Court and kind of pursue these discovery issues. We're working with the Commonwealth. It's been they've been very reasonable. They've given us a lot of discovery. Oftentimes, as I said to Judge Drexler, when you look at discovery, it kind of begs the question of more discovery. And that's the purpose of our third discovery motion, is that we want more. And I expect that we can work it out with the Commonwealth without involving the court kind of on a number to number basis in our motions. I know that's difficult for the courts with the time crunch, especially around the holidays with so many cases they have. They are often reluctant to go into, number by number of a discovery motion. And I think here today, Judge Drexler just, waded into a few things. We waded into a few debates about things back and forth. He has his opinions on things. I have my opinions. He's the judge. So we have to approach it that way. And I'll be talking to the district attorney's office about finishing that off. And whether that begs the question of more discovery, we'll see. There's a lot of statements out there that we want. We don't have the ballistics information yet. That's a very important issue here. There's a lot that we have to do, and we have to hire our own experts as well. So,
Do you have any indication when the SJC will take up the detention matter? Will it be before February 9th?
I'm very confident it will be. In fact, the case is being submitted to the SJC panel on December 3rd. So that's coming up. That's next week, mid next week. So I think that the SJC has expressed a very appropriate credence for the fact that she's held, and that these things need to be speedily decided. That's what the Supreme Court says. This relief needs to be speedy if it's to be effective. That's Stack versus Boyle. And we've cited that, and that's what's going on. I think they are honoring that, as they must, and we appreciate it. And I think it's going to be quick. The holidays are a tough time for people in jail, and especially for people that shouldn't be in jail.
Could her health resolve enough for her to take the alcohol testing and resolve the issue that way?
Everything's on the table. We're looking at everything, and
She's tried again to do the alcohol testing?
we're working on it, and it's a possibility. We are pursuing the SJC appeal, and that's where we're going with this.
We do expect that quickly after December 3rd.
Absolutely.
To Attorney Brado's point, these issues of custody where time is of the essence means, and we expect fully that they will move quickly once they have the papers from both sides, which they do now, very soon after December 3rd.
With a hearing or just on papers?
Some papers.
Right.
Mr. Britt, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
I just want to ask your take on the proposed trial date. Are you concerned that it's rushing things along? Are you going to get what you need?
No, I think it's fair. I think we can get it done in that time frame. And we can always revisit, as the judge said, quite appropriately, we can always revisit it. If there's good reasons why we can't do the case on that date, then I have no no concerns that the court wouldn't accommodate that.
How did you feel about the judge's characterization of the case as serious but not complicated?
Interesting. As far as the charge goes, the single charge here, it's a charge that could have been prosecuted in district court. It's a charge for which the sentencing guidelines make her eligible for a probation sentence, making it further, making it even more ridiculous that she's in custody. But she would never plead to this case. She would never.
We're back earlier than I said.
Was the bang on your end? Because it is not on my end.
Oh, it was definitely on my end. I think everything's fine up there.
Okay,
I
good.
think she fell in one of the gates. Like, it's so funny. I thought it might
Okay.
have been a dog issue, but yeah, it's no big deal. And I hit the bat. So funny because I drank all this creatine before the show, and then I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm gonna die.
There
But
you go.
yeah, there you go. We're back.
Nature
And
calls.
yeah, we're only gone for a minute. It's funny too, because this press conference today was quite a display because I showed up and I was like, holy shit, there's more cameras here than before. There's more, 3 news stations there, 3 TV news stations there, which is awesome. Before there was only 1 or 2. Now there was 3 today. And it's
I
funny,
think I
this
saw
David
you
Bieniek,
post about that on X.
yeah, this David Bieniek was there, right? And he's standing behind me, and I moved in front, and then as soon as Brado comes out, boom, he made the move like he was in front of me, and I was like, holy shit, that dude made a move. Like it was like, wow, this is like a real scrum. I wasn't ready for this.
You know,
And
Mike,
then, so I get the side shot, and like, it was great. And he's asking every question. I'm like, this guy's taking over the whole thing. He's like, F all these other people. I'm the professional. I liked it. I was proud of it. I was like, this is awesome. I love this guy. He's into it. So I love that David Bieniek was into it. I liked it. And
you know, Mike,
he-
you got to develop sharp elbows if you're gonna.
no, you know what? They're the TV news guys. I'm like, we'll let you have all the first questions because you are the TV news guy. Like, I love it. I'm glad he was there. And he
Yeah.
is kind of a star. Like, it's just funny to see how they are like ready to go. And even Brado was like, whoa, guys, we'll answer all your questions. Whoa. But it was
Yeah.
awesome to see. Like, I felt like, wow, this is major league now. Like before the first couple hearings, there weren't as many people there. Today, it definitely had a different feel to it. So let's listen to
Good.
some more of these questions.
Case that she did something that she didn't do. So that's absolutely not on the table.
So what's the maximum penalty if she were to be convicted?
It's a 5-year felony. It's about
So it could be
the most entry level charge that you do in Superior Court.
Presumably this would be time served every day she spent in jail.
You know
You
what?
never know.
That's so far away from where we're focused on the case. I don't even want to talk about it because it's never going to happen.
Did she hear the beeping on the highway from?
I did tell Kelsey that you guys were on the highway and you said hello, and she sends her love, and she really means the world that you guys are all here. You know, especially this time of year. It's not easy. So thank you guys, and it means the world to us. And you know, it's so important in this country that these rights not get swept under the rug. And I think sometimes in the press of court business, I think some judges just forget that. And I'm not suggesting today, but I think that happens sometimes that these 58A rulings, everyone's under 58A, everyone's on a bracelet, everyone's under house arrest. You know, when you give the government a vacuum, they're going to fill it. And I am really optimistic that this SJC is going to address that and really rein these things in, because
She's out before Thanksgiving. Like this is like she should be home for the holidays. I hope the SJC does something in the next couple days. Like, come on. Come
I
on.
agree. I
Don't
agree.
go
And-
away for Thanksgiving without ruling on this. Get her home. Like, I
and
just hope
seeing
so.
her, I did happen to see that, you know, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see what she's going through. And you've been such a staunch advocate for her, Mike. It is heartbreaking. Hopefully the SJC does act on this as soon as possible.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I gotta say too, thank God I got the new phone because the video and the audio is phenomenal. People
Oh,
were
yeah.
complaining because I got a new phone. I'm like,
Well, you
this is
know,
why I got the new phone.
I'm sure people complain that I might have subsidized that new
Yeah,
phone.
no, you subsidize the computer. They still talk about that.
It's a
I'm very
shameless effort
thankful.
on my part to just acquire clout. I'm chasing clout, you see.
The
Yeah,
So,
well, clear.
presumption is
I,
personal
I'm chasing everything.
recognizance under the Constitution. And, that's where we want to bring it back to.
And
We've both-
Kelsey is in good spirits. We just met with
Great.
her.
Yes.
She's feeling obviously she would rather be elsewhere, especially with the holidays coming. But she understands she's the law enforcement officer and she understands the circumstances of this case. And as the judge mentioned, itself may not seem complex, but there's lots of circumstances that go before this case and surround what happened that all will come out pre-trial and at trial. And so preparation for this case will require time to do it. But ordinarily, this is a case that could be, as the judge noted, tried in district court. Having
Amazing. For people that don't know, this is the former Attorney General. She's the former DA of Middlesex County, which is one of the biggest counties just west of Boston. It's like Waltham area. It's a big money area, big tech area. She's a former DA, longtime DA of Middlesex County. Then she was the Attorney General, and then she ran for governor and U.S. Senate. She won the Democratic primary, but she lost both of those races. But she's been around for decades. People know who she is. Her name's Martha Coakley. Howie, I think, calls her Marsha Coakley.
that's
But
okay.
it's funny. I got her card today. I'm gonna try to get her on the Howie Carr show maybe with me. We'll see. We'll see if it happens. But that would be funny to have Marsha Coakley come in to Howie Carr. We'll see. I've been trying to work on this for a while, but this is amazing to see her, speaking up for Kelsey. Like I said, it was a look at all these cameras. Just look at all the
Yeah.
cameras right just in the picture right there, the microphones. This was awesome to see today.
This is why donations are so important to Kelsey's fund. And I would be remiss on a personal note if I did not comment on the fact that Martha is wearing my absolute favorite color. And she is rocking that. So,
She looks good.
yeah. Yeah. You want to
So
go to
this is
court
great.
and get what you really want, you wear a color like that as a woman. That's my professional opinion.
Oh, and I want to tell you something else too. I got a text, and this is from it's funny because I think I got the first comment from the family. I kind of pushed it today because Steve, I talked to Steve. He's the father of Kelsey Fitzsimmons. I talked to him a lot. I talked to the family. They're nice people. The mom, the dad, the stepdad. They're all so nice. And Steve was standing behind me. He like kind of gave me a kind of push at one point. And at the end, I turned the camera to him and I just asked him for a quick comment about his daughter, how she's doing. Something that I knew wouldn't get him in trouble. They're not supposed to comment, but he kind of gave me a comment. So I think I got the first kind of interview with the family. But he was there and he just sent a message a little while ago. And this is what he said. And the reason I'm reading this is for you, Nan. He said, "Good to see you today, Mike. I'm waiting on the show with Nan Gallagher." He didn't say on the show with you, Mike. He said on the show with Nan Gallagher. And then he said something else too. We'll share off the record maybe later. But he's into watching Nan Gallagher tonight. He wants to know.
Oh,
So we'll watch the rest of this. But I just figure, what do you think about this Kelsey Fitzsimmons thing at this point?
man. But by the way, thank you for letting me know that. I needed a little pick me
Steve.
up tonight.
Yeah.
And I will say, what do I think about all of this? I think
Yeah.
that it's a complete disaster what is going on with her. I feel for her family. I feel for her. I feel for her baby. I think that this is yet another example of the Commonwealth and DA's office just completely overstepping. There are probably, although I'm not certain, relationships between parties involved that overstep what I'm comfortable with from a corruption standpoint. I think this smells like there is corruption going on. I think, and as I've talked about on Mazza has done fundraisers for her. I know I spoke about this informally at a nacho night at the JJ Grimsby's recently with some of the individuals at a fundraiser for her. I do feel that there were missteps procedurally. We talked about this also on LTL's program with Todd McGee. There were missteps in how that entire incident that day of was handled. I have made some donations to her fund, which I intend on continuing to do. And I also intend not to go anywhere from YouTube. I'm going to be staunchly supporting her cause. And interestingly, I had to go to some meetings today and I was wearing a Justice for Kelsey purple t-shirt today. And on the back of it, and I got it at a nacho night, but on the back of it, it says, I believe it says PPD, postpartum depression is not a crime. As a woman and a mother, I can tell you that PPD, postpartum depression, is inextricably intertwined with this matter altogether, and is not spoken about enough. And I don't mean any offense to male commentators like yourself, Mike, and others when I say this, but men simply just do not fully understand. You can be sympathetic to it, but not empathetic to it.
You gotta live in the shoes. You gotta live in the
Yeah,
shoes. I can never live in those shoes because I'm never gonna have it. So yeah.
yeah, like, and I wore that. Like, it's so funny. Someone in your chat said, "Oh, that makes me love you more." That's so sweet. But that's one of the benefits of like running your own law firm. I just run around in jeans and a t-shirt all day, even if I'm meeting with clients, and I love that. But I was wearing my Justice for Kelsey t-shirt, and my client, one of my clients who's a physician, kind of said, "Oh, what's that about?" And these are doctors down in New Jersey, New York. Like, they have no reason to know about what has happened with Kelsey and the overstepping that it was involved. And, I know her truth is going to come out. I know not only that, but the fact that she is detained pre-trial when there wasn't even any bail violation is so offensive to me as a criminal defense attorney. Like, I can't even speak about it without getting fired up and overly emotional. But to think about all that she's going through, plus my own experience with a very extremely light case of previous postpartum depression, and mine was light. I'm not trying to be a martyr here. I know that her woman related issues are going to be part of this trial. They should
Totally.
be. When the time comes, like, I will offer to the family if you'd like any guidance or insight. I'm not licensed in your state yet, but I will be. I'm not looking to represent you or your family. You're in great hands with Tim Bradle. But if anyone is ever looking for some insight on what the type of jurors you would need to select, obviously it should predominantly be female, just to forecast. But there's other nuances there that I would be happy to offer, pro bono, just to try to help give some guidance. And Tim may never need guidance from me. I don't want to in any way insult his abilities or acumen, but I will make it a mission of mine and a platform of mine on YouTube when asked to appear by creators to very, very vociferously and staunchly advocate for her, because her rights of a civil nature and a criminal nature are so being trampled upon. I feel like it's a herd of stampeding buffalo running over every single right she has under the U.S. Constitution, under the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And I do very firmly feel that when the time comes, she's going to have a chance to tell her story. And everyone, including all of this media, which, where the hell have they been all along on some of these other cases? But God damn it, they're here now. Let them listen. Let them put their mics in front of the staunchly advocating voices. Mike, put your camera, which is phenomenal, in front of people, including Tim Bradle, who, by all objective commentary that I've heard, is in fact a silver fox. Put your camera in
Definitely.
front of him.
He's funny. I liked him. He's funny as hell. He's such a
Yeah,
good guy too. He's a
you
good guy.
know,
He's a good
and
man.
strong voices. We're all whichever way we contribute, and by the way, guys, it doesn't have to be in the form of financial support. I'm sure even her family would say that. Her family, and I can't speak to her financial situation other than what I've heard online, but I'm sure her family would feel that they just want people talking about this. So
Right.
to him,
or just watching the YouTube videos, sharing
yeah.
them, writing
And
letters to her. Some
right,
people are just
write
doing the
letters,
letters to her,
talk
showing up
about
to
I
court.
I
Yeah,
talked to a physician in New
exactly.
Jersey today about her.
Right,
Let
right.
him tell 3 people. Let people watch these clips. Let people come to YouTube. Even my dog is barking right now. She feels passionately
Good
justice for
Lord.
Kelsey Fitzsimmons.
And you could share the fundraiser that Sherry
Yes.
D just shared in the chat. You can share that with your friends as well. There's so many ways you can help. Just watching these YouTube shows helps too. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
so this was awesome to see today. To see the amount of people there for her, but especially the media. To see all these media people. Lawrence Eagle Tribune has been sending someone every time. Mass Live usually does. I don't know if they had another reporter there. Charlie was on vacation. He's a great reporter. He's always there. If he wasn't on vacation, he definitely would have been there today. But this was great to see today, to see all the people coming out and supporting Kelsey.
Yeah.
Let's play a little more of
Said
this.
that she understands that, and her patience is extraordinary to my mind. That she is keeping her spirits up, keeping her fingers crossed, and she did support with all the support from her family and from all her supporters. Some of whom are here. That means a lot to her.
I'll just say this too: if you want any letter writing advice, join the Facebook group. It's been just posted by Sherry D in the chat. That Facebook group has all the information on mailing letters, and you can ask the admins; they will help you out as well. If you want to write her a letter, you want the address and all the rules on it.
We've been so bogged down with the process and incarceration. We don't talk much about the merits. And I only have one question. I know there's only so much you can share. Is it normal to call the complaint?
This is Michael from Justice
Justice
Served.
served. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good too. He drives up a long way from Connecticut.
He does.
He's a great guy to be there as well. He does a good job.
Yeah, I met
TRO
him.
witness to the scene 10 minutes after the initiation of the TRO?
So, Michael, that's a great question. As always, it's a little bit too close to the merits of the case, to what's going to happen in the courtroom, and so I don't really want to litigate the particulars of the case out here on the sidewalk.
So funny that he says this. We knew he was going to say this, but Joe Biffle says, "Give me a wrench, Mike. You got to talk to the Monts. The Monts are if you're serious. See, this is what I don't know about Joe Biffle, because he is a joker. Everything's a joke to him, and I like it. I like his jokes. But we like the Monts have to vote you in. Like, you're gonna have to talk to them. You're gonna have to do some campaigning to the ladies in the chat if you really want in.
And by the way, I just
But it's
saw
a great.
in your, sorry to interrupt, I just saw in your chat, Boozy Beauty, and I
Is she
didn't
back?
know this, that Corey Hopkins was able to have her hearing canceled for the sidebars, so full support could be on Kelsey. That's great. You know, it's another important value to watching channels like this, because I learn information from all of you in the chat as well.
I'm wondering, is that done with now that Bev made that ruling, or is it still going on in terms of the hearing? Like, I don't know if the hearing was canceled.
So I don't know
Yeah.
if, but what I would speculate is that it's not all over. Bev
Yeah.
issued her ruling, and even though I believe there's going to be a rollout of the sidebars as they are produced, which, as I mentioned on LTL last night, does take time. I do think that until there is a full satisfaction of the order to release them, and there are no challenges and objections raised once they are released, because it's possible redactions might be put in and people may still have an issue with what is released. I don't think it's all over yet. So I am happy that there wasn't a concurrent hearing that could have defrayed from the tremendous importance of this hearing today. And Mike, thank you for airing it, because it was very helpful for me, and I kind of just put you on 2.5 speed and pummeled through it very quickly to prepare for this evening. But she's got a long road ahead. I hope the SJC does the right thing. A lot of lawyers, and I don't follow all of them, but a lot of lawyers feel that her chances are very, very good. And I did hear um, Alan Jackson's interview the other day with Brother Counsel, and Brother Counsel was like, "Let me pick your brain about this case. And what do you think about this?" And like Alan was floored. He's like, "Are you kidding me? She didn't violate bail conditions." And Brother Counsel was like, "No." So this is just an egregious overstep and trampling upon her civil rights, her constitutional rights, everything. I hope the SJC does the right thing, because from the sound of the hearing today with Judge Drexel, I think his name is, I might be getting that wrong.
I don't know. I thought it was Dreschler, but whatever it is. Go
Dreschler,
ahead.
either way,
Yeah.
like I was upset at how much pushback Bradel got from that judge, in terms of, well, why are you entitled to this? And can't the prosecutor just give this to you? And, essentially implying that some of what Bradel is asking for is either too broad, too overburdensome, too far beyond what he might be entitled to under Carney versus Springfield, a leading case up there, and or Brady, which may be more familiar to your viewers. Like, I was a little put off by how dismissive that judge was of what Bradel is asking for. And as far as I'm concerned, Bradel not only is exercising incredibly competent and extraordinarily good representation of Kelsey in a hearing like that took place today, but in light of all of the BS that's been going on up there with all of these different cases and all of the missteps of the different prosecutors' offices, etc., like if you recall, we had the hearing a couple months ago where Lally took the stand on the Miles King matter, and the Norfolk County DA's office, like, they don't know their what from their elbow. So Bradel should be asking for half this stuff, because if you don't ask for it, nobody has faith that they're going to get it. This is all done with a specific design to make sure that if, in the unlikely event Kelsey is convicted of this crime, which, yeah, it's like a 5-year offense, but I still don't know why she's detained pretrial. But if she is convicted, he's got to perfect her appeal rights thereafter. So the judge today, I'm looking in your chat. I don't want to repeat the word, but I agree with someone in your chat in terms of how he treated the reasonableness of what Bradel was very competently asking for. I could have been Bradel today because I would have asked for the same things. And I have to say, Bradel handled it with much more grace than I would have, because
Seems like
I would
he
have
likes
been.
this judge, actually. So it's
Yeah, and
interesting 'cause
I think he says during your interview here
Yeah, he
that you
does.
captured, they interacted with each other previously in the
they know
same
each other.
spheres.
He likes this guy, so we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. But Linda said you mentioned this. That was an awesome interview with Alan Jackson and Brother Counsel. It
It
was, and
was.
glad to have Brother Counsel covering this Kelsey Fitzsimmons. He does a
Yeah.
really good job on it. He's passionate about it. He's hit me up a lot, actually, for like, I don't think he does anymore because I think he's got like the inside, but like he
Yeah.
kept hitting me up for documents, and I was like, I like that. He wants it. He wants it. He's hooked. He kept
Yeah.
asking me, "You got this document? You got this one?" Like,
Well, and
yep,
we
I
say,
got him
like,
for
as
you. Well,
and as
he's into
attorneys
it.
who
He's
are
into it.
outside of the jurisdiction, like, we're at the mercy of those who can get certain documents and give them to us. But in addition, it's just another example of how I believe, and I don't think I'm alone, this isn't a competition. He's another content creator who
He's
has
great. He's
it,
got a niche. He's really good.
she needs all
He's
the voices that
totally.
she can harness. And if I can be one of them, I'm happy to be one of them.
Totally. We
Yeah.
got a great chat tonight too. I just thank you for all the super chats. I'm posting them. I'm trying to post them up, but we'll read them all again at the end. But here's another comment. I loved AJ's comparison about Kelsey's bail. He said it's like saying bail requires someone to provide a right thumbprint every day, and that person has the right thumb amputated. Loved it. Love you guys. I know, right?
And
It's
he
like
didn't
it's
know,
such a
like, I
weird
don't
thing.
think he knew anything about the case at all. Like, he struck me as being completely a blank slate. So that was such a great metaphor that he used.
What a person to ask about it too. That's like great job. I thank you, brother counsel.
Yeah,
Great
thank you.
question. I know you're going to keep an eye on that. And, we'll have to see how that transpires in the courtroom.
Attorney Britta,
Yes.
what motions or filings should we expect from your office between now and the next year?
So Josie, we're probably going to focus on some more discovery, some more follow-up motions.
I love this. This is a teenager asking a question.
Oh,
And
really?
Bradle knows her name. Like Bradle's treating her like very respectful, and it was a good question. Like it's kind of cool.
Was that
actually.
one
I
of
thought-
the law girls,
law
not
girls,
attorneys?
not attorneys. Yes.
She's I've met the mother and daughter. I apologize. I don't know their names, but
Josie's the daughter.
Josie, she's such a beautiful, precious young woman, and she makes a lot of, for lack of a better word, merchandise in her own time to try to build up funds that can go to Kelsey. She's such a sweetheart, and so is her mother.
I like the question too. She asked a good question.
You heard Judge Drexler mention that it didn't look like there was a motion to suppress in the case. Some cases just don't have every motion under the sun, and that's the case here. We want to get this to trial. We don't need to focus on that in this case. We will also be doing some motions in limine, which is Latin for at the threshold, which is at the threshold of trial. We are going to file motions that will seek to control and direct the evidence at trial, but that's a long ways away.
And I just have one more question. Did the judge's comments today signal any concerns we should be prepared for?
Well, I think Judge Drexler is a very experienced judge.
You know what I mean? She is like so on point. Like I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit. She just nailed and not only that, like that question was so on point. It was like 2 seconds long.
Yeah,
Like
sometimes.
I like seriously. She's making me look bad. The only thing I'll say, Josie, is you're making the rest of us look bad.
That's
Slow
right.
down, girl. You're working too hard. You're making us adults look bad. Because that was perfect, Josie. I just gotta say, like, she is really good at this.
I agree.
Judge,
I think of
I've
my
known him a
son.
very long
Sorry, I
time.
didn't mean. Sorry, go ahead, Nan.
Oh, sorry. I think of my son. I get a lot of flack online about how people claim I'm s- pimping out my son for clicks and views and followers. But my son, who is 10, obviously younger than Josie, who I've met now 2 or 3 times, but my son has that yearning curiosity about cases he have a very quick wit and a very sharp brain, and he asks questions about certain cases too, that are just so concise and so impressive that I'm amazed in a very similar way. So yeah, little Josie gets
Good at
it.
it.
She's got a
both of them.
future ahead of her.
Both of those kids are good at it.
Yeah.
That's the common denominator. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's like they're natural. Some kids just have this natural talent sometimes. Like
Agreed.
Boozy says. Boozy's giving me. I love it. I love Boozy giving me a shiv.
Give
She's
it to him.
She says, Mike, you could learn something from her. LOL. You're absolutely right, but I won't. Instead, I'm going to tell the kid to come down to my level and don't work so hard, Josie. You're making the rest of us look bad.
That's right.
That's when I was on the beer trucks as a union helper. That's
Yeah.
what some of the older union guys would say to us, like, "Kid, slow down. You work too hard. You're doing too much. You're making the rest of us look bad. Slow
Yes.
down. We need to milk this. We got to milk this run. We need to get a little overtime. We're gonna have a long lunch today. You're not gonna make your girlfriend's little dinner at 6 p.m. That's what the union guys would say. Like, we're gonna make some money and we're gonna take it slow today."
I love
I'm just
it.
kidding.
The
just
children
kidding,
are our
Josie.
future. The children
just-
are our future.
She's great. I'm just kidding. I hope she knows.
I actually had cases against him a million years ago when we were both lawyers, and I have a ton of respect for him. I don't think that there's anything that he said that causes me any particular concern. I'm being a defense lawyer. He's being a judge, and that's perfectly fine.
Will the case stay in front of them now, or will it ever go back to another?
You never know. They always have a surprise for you in our system where the judges rotate. There's always a roulette wheel on that, and we'll see who shows up.
Are you confident you're getting all the video evidence that might exist?
It sounded to me like the prosecution is perfectly adherent to all the discovery rules. I don't see any problems. I think we're going to be we're going to have a lot of stuff to go through pretty soon.
Were the
Mhm.
officers wearing body cameras?
There's no body cameras.
No body cameras.
Right?
And no doors.
No door. That's true. And those are the kind of facts that we'll try to stay off the sidewalk, and we'll try to keep them in the courtroom.
What
No,
about-
that's okay.
What about the conflicting statements? There's some,
Mike, that's a big part of the case is, we don't have any hard evidence, anything to focus on. So we're going to have to scrutinize all that very closely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great Thanksgiving, guys. Great job.
On the news again.
Great job, everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
It's coming. It's going slow, but it's. Thank you.
can I ask you how Kelsey's doing?
Guys, okay?
That
Looks good.
Kelsey,
Looks good. Yeah, you
Yeah. She looked healthy today.
Yeah, I love it, Steve. That's my buddy Steve. He's giving me nothing. I love it because he knows I'm not
Nada.
supposed to say anything. I love him. But see how well dressed he is? He is
Yeah.
the man. I like Steve a lot. I love.
That's
He's like,
awesome.
no, Mike. He did give me a comment, but then when I put the camera in his face, he's like, no.
Nothing.
I love it. I love
Were you,
Steve. He's a great guy.
Mike, were you holding your phone just by hand, or did you have one of those like stands?
Yeah, I got one of those things. I got
Mhm.
a handheld thing,
Got
grip
you.
thing. I got it. It's not even use it correctly. It's like backwards, but it works for me.
And that's good. And you've got height.
But-
Everyone
yeah.
needs to really appreciate. Mike is really, really
I'm
tall.
not that tall. I am not.
Oh,
that
yes,
tall.
you are.
No,
Yes, you are.
Say I am. I am not.
Yeah,
But
Pete-
anyway, it's funny because Bradel and I gave each other a little. It was funny. We had a little. It was funny. He was kind
a
of
little moment.
yeah, but yeah, even before that, when I was in the hit the bathroom there, the first question I asked Bradel, I don't know if people noticed that. I was kind of hinting at something. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know if people picked that up, but he knew what I was talking about. I found something for them. Hopefully, that's all I'm gonna
Wait.
say. Like,
Wait, now
I
I
think
gotta
there's something that's
re-listen.
gonna-
I don't remember.
well,
I gotta
maybe you want to rewind it a little bit.
I would love that. Did anyone? I'm interested. Did anyone in the chat appreciate what Mike asked? Because I missed it.
Let's see where. I think it might be around here. Maybe we'll watch it
Going
again.
to disparage anybody that has a clean record, but to the extent somebody does it, we want to know about it.
Do you have any information that we don't know about that?
Mike, excellent question.
You know why I'm asking?
Oh.
You see his face when I asked that question?
Oh yeah. That's great. And you know what's wonderful too about what you're doing is there are no limitations. You're a content creator and you're digging stuff up. You're doing investigative work and there's nothing that prohibits you from if
I mean, I
if-
could have kept that source for myself and reported on it,
Mhm.
but instead I was like, you know what? It will help more if we keep it hush hush and you go
Mhm.
talk to Tim Bradel. Call talk to Tim Bradel.
That's
I can
great.
report that when the time comes. This,
Good
so
for you.
Sometimes my journalism isn't even for the journalism. It's like I'm gonna help Kelsey. Fuck this. Let's just send it to the. So
Agreed.
yeah, I think we're gonna see some fireworks. Is what I'm saying.
I
And-
look
and
forward to
Look
it.
at that smile on his face. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. I know he does.
Oh yeah, he's got, as they say, a shit-eaten grin on his
Yeah.
face right now.
Um.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. What else was I gonna say too? I can't even remember. I
Oh,
think we got it all. Oh, I
Yeah.
know. This is news. Justice TV,
mhm.
Justice Served. TV. They broke this story today, and they basically said that Justin, the boyfriend, the fiance, the baby's daddy, has filed a PR firm. It's funny
Ooh.
because I asked him for public comment. He was actually very nice to me. I tried to be nice to him. I asked him a question. He wouldn't comment. I said, I want to hear his side of the story. He said he understood. This was the last hearing. And he said, ask his attorney. His attorney just blew by me. He wouldn't even like Justin like recognized me that I was asking questions. The attorney acted like I didn't even ask a question, like I didn't exist. He didn't even look at me. He just kept walking. But now he's hired a PR firm. What do you think about that? Is that unusual? Why do you think they hired a PR firm? What is a PR firm going to accomplish for Justin right now?
Yeah. First of all, I didn't hear that they broke that news, but a
Just
PR
today, yeah.
PR firm, for your audience, a public relations firm, in my view, there is really only one reason for a litigant or someone closely tied to litigation, even of a criminal nature, to do so, and that's to improve their image and their messaging. So that sends me, a legal strategist, a message indirectly that he does not feel that he's being perceived well in the public eye, or that there is a substantial risk that his actions or his image is not being perceived well publicly. So that means that all that's kind of growing to support Kelsey is building momentum. So he's legally allowed to engage a public relations firm, but it tells me that he knows he ain't looking so good, that he probably overstepped, that he shouldn't be going after her, and I don't know the status of it, but trying to take a stake in her house sale. And maybe you guys know, I don't remember how that panned out, that he shouldn't have been there the day that the police came and actually came there on the heels of it to take custody of the child. He looks bad optics wise from a news standpoint, and he's trying to improve his image. That's actually a good sign, in my view, for Kelsey. There's also nothing that prohibits Kelsey's family from engaging a PR firm to help improve her image. However, I don't think that's necessary.
But she needs it, yeah.
And
She's
also,
winning.
yeah, winning, right? And also,
In terms of PR, yeah.
YouTube creators are kind of, it's a groundswell. They're also serving unintentionally as a PR firm, a
Now, I'd
brain
say even,
trust.
yeah, and I'd say on this one, even some of the mainstream
Right.
media, traditional, like the print, especially like that guy Charlie over at Mass Live, he's done phenomenal reporting. So has
Yes.
the Lawrence Eagle Tribune. So the print reporters, and then you got these TV news people showing up. I mean, that means a lot for her that they're
It does.
waiting for they're not only are they inside the courtroom watching it, they wait. We all wait. You know, we're waiting half hour, 40 minutes, an hour after the court hearing, whatever it is, for them to come out, and everyone's waiting to talk, you know, to get that question in to Tim Bradle and Martha Coakley. So I think not just the YouTubers, but also, you know, the mainstream media too.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's not looking good in the public eye,
No.
and honestly, I've got my own personal negative opinions about him. If anything, and I'm going to say them, Mike, because as you said, I don't hold back. So here it is. And I hope he's watching, and I hope her family is watching, and maybe she's watching. I've heard that Kelsey has access to YouTube, at least at certain times. Hey, Justin, no matter what you think has gone awry with Kelsey, no matter what you thought at the time or what danger alleged you think Kelsey posed to your child is young. They're still an infant. And in my view, it's going to come out that she didn't pose a risk to her child. But in my personal view, and not that of the channel, I feel that you would be better served as a father caring about your child and the tremendous biological, emotional, psychological, and physiological needs that your son has to be with his mother. There's nothing that would stop you from actually intervening in court and filing an affidavit and saying, hey, I still took issue with what was going on with Kelsey, But I oppose the fact that my baby's mother, and I'm assuming former fiance, is pre-trial detained, because my child would be better served with his mother in these very precious and soon fleeting formative months. That's what you could do,
Yeah.
Justin.
And
And
how about the
no,
grandparents too? Because
yeah,
apparently he's been keeping these grandparents from the baby, and
yeah,
these are nice people. And
these
that
are
guy
nice
Steve,
people.
do you see him? He's better dressed than Tim Bradle.
Yeah,
You know, the
like,
family's always there. All three of them. They're at every. There hasn't been a hearing that all three of them haven't been there. Today, it's funny because I was recording the video and I can't see that well. I got my glasses, and I
yeah,
said the father, the stepfather, the mom, and then I thought, like, did I actually see the stepdad? Is he here? And then I was like, oh, of course he is. They're all here.
yeah,
I just assume they're there because they're always there, and so that part bugs me too. Like the
it
grandparents should
does.
be able to see that baby.
They
And
should,
Justin
and
should just say, let him see him. Like, why do they have to go to court over that?
and
That's really wild.
and whatever. I always get the judge's name wrong.
Which one?
The female
Not
judge.
McCarthy Naaman?
Yes, Judge
Kathleen McCarthy
McCarthy
Naaman?
Neiman or Naaman. I while I fundamentally, from a legal standpoint, disagree with your ruling to revoke her bail, hold that aside. As a female, I think you made the wrong decision by imposing the decision as you did to revoke her bail, because you have deprived that child of a very precious and fleeting formative period of months with his mother. And there are plenty of articles out there on the absolute need for baby bonding during that time. This will, not might, this will have an effect on that child in his formative years and even into adulthood. So I feel
Totally.
so strongly about this. And that's where, and I say this so respectfully again, Mike, that male content creators, they could sympathize, but they're just not going to
Yeah, we're not
empathize
gonna know.
with
We're
it.
not gonna experience it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about some of the Mazda fundraiser shows for Kelsey. He asked me to be on some, like I was on like one or two of them, but when all the women started stepping up,
You
like
guys
the
are like,
yeah, I was like, it's better with them
let
because
us
they know
squawk.
because that's what I see about this movement too. Like in the Kelsey thing, it's like even with how it started with me, like the first day, like everybody else, I brought it up on the Grace Curley show, but Grace was pregnant. And Grace
Yeah.
every week kept asking about it. She was the one, I might have some other stories that because we always talk like on Friday or Thursday, and we'll be like, what are we going to talk about this week? And she kept bringing it up. Kelsey, every week. Is there a Kelsey update? Is there, because, she was pregnant. And I think that seeing all the women on the Mazza shows has just been, that's what's needed. And I think it's one of the reasons this story has legs, that people care about it so much, and even
Yeah.
us men, because we love women. They're the mothers of our kids, and it's like you don't you think about, even as a guy, what would you do? And I look at
Yeah.
Clancy and I look at this guy Justin, and I'd say I'd want to be more like Clancy. I don't know
Yeah.
if I could be, because what happened to him is way worse than to Justin. It's like I don't get Justin, but
I
the
don't get him
Clancy thing.
either.
Yeah, so
No PR firm is going to repair his
yeah.
poor image. So
Unless
that's
he
money.
changes, and these actions matter. People pay attention to actions.
They do. And I do think male voices also lend strength to this. I don't want to be so
No, yeah,
exclusionary. However, if her family needs any strong female voices, from everything I see, like there's a strong female voice collective amongst a lot of the YouTube community, and including Boozy Beauty, who's been in your chat tonight, among others, and I don't want to exclude anyone, but she's been really staunchly advocating for Kelsey as well, and all of the other females I've had the honor of interacting with. So hopefully the tide turns, the SJC issues a favorable and just decision on her behalf. Kelsey is not and does not fit the mold of someone who should be detained pre-trial under these circumstances whatsoever. And, I do feel that it's getting, if there's anything good or positive that's coming out of any of this, it's that Karen Reed's case criminal has ended, and there's still this strong compulsion and spirit of the community to unite for really good causes, and Kelsey's is one of them. And I'm very proud to be part of that community as well. Yeah.
We love Boozy. She's in the chat. It's funny because now we have Joe Biffle.
Oh yeah, Joe.
He's making ultimatums. He's making threats. I'm getting worried. He says we have 36 hours or else, or the else. I'm getting worried.
Hey Joe, demand that I get a wrench too.
Oh, we got to give everyone a wrench tonight. We'll see what the ladies in the chat decide. And then we've gone all night pretty much, had no trolls. And then all of a sudden
there were trolls.
Well, maybe a couple, but mostly I didn't notice them. But now I'm noticing this guy or lady, whoever they are. Brand new account. And they're like, actions matter from you. Brand new account. Brand new.
Mike, can I say a couple things?
Did they get blocked
that?
Before and they came back? Go ahead.
On that topic, because I did see a couple comments tonight about, Nan pays attention to the trolls. Nan pays attention to the trolls. Now you get a new account. What Nan cares now. Let me just say a couple things to your audience. One, yeah, I do care what some of the trolls say, folks. And I'm not a professional victim, but many of you just don't get assaulted regularly. Okay.
Yeah, all those people saying that, they should put themselves in your shoes. Like, yeah, because most of them wouldn't survive it for a day. They'd be freaking the hell up. They would never shut up about it. And it's not, I'm going to say something else. It's not just trolls either. So, when someone has a big channel and they're doing that shit, it's not just trolls. So let's just say that, and let's just leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
You've said enough. Yeah.
But the one thing I'd like just people to understand is it's very easy, and I've given similar advice to people to ignore things, and I understand that. But sometimes you can't ignore it.
Sometimes you shouldn't ignore it.
Sometimes you
don't
don't
address it.
And sometimes you don't.
Bullshit, and you need to address it. Don't be
right.
Deal.
And sometimes the answer isn't just walk away. So I'm choosing what works for me, and you can either choose to respect it, or you can choose to comment on it, or you can choose to simply say she's handling things in the way that work for her. So you may see some changes from me in the near future. And guess what? They're my changes. They're my decisions. But most importantly, I think we had a great discussion tonight, as I always do with Mike.
And it didn't get railroaded by the troll. We hit all the subjects from front to back. We spent a lot of time on Kelsey, which I wanted to at the end. I hope Steve didn't tune out. I hope Steve didn't get aggravated that we waited to the end. But we got all the Kelsey in. We got the Karen Reed in. We got Brian Walsh. We talked about the McAlberts, their defense fund. We talked about the Karen Reed civil fence. We talked about the DA race. I mean, that's the key, is just to hit all the great topics. And it's been amazing. Amazing show.
It wasn't in 11-minute segments like on Grace Curley, but Mike.
It wasn't stressful. It was easy. That's what I like about these shows.
And that
I like doing the Grace Curley and the Howie Koss show, but it's stressful. Even though they're so nice to me, it's different when you're in somebody else's place and you have employees and you got sponsors and you got segments and you got hard cuts. This is so much fun just to sit and talk with you, and we just have.
Money Mike, and as JFK and James call me, I'm apparently long money. They call me long money.
Man. Long money man. I like that. You are the long money. Oh, love it.
Thank you so much for having me. And also, if any of your chat has questions that they feel I haven't answered, you can always try to reach out to me if you can find me. But you will definitely be seeing me on YouTube. I can say that for now. And also, I will always be an honorary jerk.
Yeah. We need to have you back more often now too, because there's so much stuff going on again.
And I do, by the way, I do have a YouTube channel. I don't have content on it, but I post from it from time to time. So, and I'm not chumming up subscribers. I don't need subscribers, but I have a feeling in the near future, if people want to see something in writing from me, you may want to look at that channel, not for video content, but occasional posts.
What is that channel again?
It's the Lawfurio
Oh, it's Lawfurio.
official. The
And you also
Lawfurio
have that on
official.
Facebook. People
No,
can
I'm
find
off
you on.
of I am off of Facebook now.
Oh, you're off of Facebook now, but you're
I am.
you're on Twitter. I think as well, right?
For now.
No, well, so maybe take a break. All right.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it here. I'm probably deactivating from Twitter. It's
For a little
not,
while.
at least for a little while, it's not what I would call a comfortable environment for
You
me.
know what? It's the thing too. It's like you wasted time. That's what I always
Yeah.
consider. Is like how much time is wasted. It's a lot of times when I block people too, or unfriend them or unfollow them. Sometimes it's because I'm like I just don't want to be going back and forth with that person.
Well, some of
Sometimes
us
I
are
even
not
like
as good
them.
as you. You're
Sometimes I
very
like
good
them
at
and I
it.
feel like some of their points disappoint me, and it's like if I feel like I'm going to be responding back and forth with them and wasting time on it, then
Yeah.
sometimes I'll just unfollow and unblock. And it's not even personal, folks. It's just about
hmm
time. It's like I spend too much time on the Twitter. It's true. And I
Well, and
encourage people to get
sometimes,
off of it when they
and I will
can.
say there's tremendous support I get on Twitter. But when you have to protect posts, when you have to limit audiences, when you have to literally, I'm getting follow requests now, and I'm making a case by case decision to approve followers, and I see that they're alt or sock accounts that were created in November of 2025, and I'm getting at least five of those requests an hour. All these accounts that come in that were created in the last 30 days. You know what? I don't need that. I am who I am. People can misinterpret what I've said, people can spin it, but I know who I am, what my worth is, and what I've gone through. Does it mean that I'm a professional victim? Absolutely not. My intentions have been as transparent as they come from the very beginning. So you're going to see me around YouTube. That's what I can say, folks. And for those who don't
That's
like
where we
me, don't
need you.
watch.
We need you on YouTube more than we need you on Twitter. I'm gonna be honest with you, Nan. That's because you shine on YouTube. The Twitter,
Yeah,
who gives a shit? Like, because
that's right.
honestly, all it's doing is making you feel like you need to respond to shit that you don't need to respond to. So I'm
Thank
all
you.
for it. I think you should take it off of Twitter and come
Yeah.
back later when you feel chill, and if it's bugging you again, check out again. Like it's like
And
I
and
wish
most
I
of
could. I always say that like damn, I wish I could just not do it, but I have the show, so I kind of have to stay on Twitter. But
you
yeah,
do, because you're a
yeah,
content creator. But
I
the
know.
last thing I will say is you never know when I'll be back. And you never know when I spill all the tea that
Yes.
I choose not to right now.
Yep.
So we'll see. But
We'll
once
see.
a
Oh,
jerk,
there was one
always a
more
jerk.
question. There's one
Yeah.
more comment that came in that I didn't get up. It was a super chat. It was from New Hampshire dude. Your buddy there. He says, "Love you, Mike." No, that's not the one. He had a question.
Did
Where is
he?
it? Oh, here it is. He says, if the Mass SJC says no, can they appeal to the federal Supreme Court? They can, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah. The SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the
but
United States.
but I have a feeling they wouldn't because like this is a timing issue.
It is a
Like she'd
timing
probably be
issue.
out before the the U.S. Supreme Court would probably take so long to even write the appeal and then
Yes.
submit it and then have the hear it. By that time, she's going to be out anyways. So
She'd
that's the
also
problem.
have to get, and I don't know if Bradel is already, but she'd have to get a Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, that is, certified attorneys to file
Just
that. Now, Bradel might be, I don't know, but also, yes, to apply
more
for
money.
petition for
You
certiorari,
need
as
an
they call it.
expert. Yeah, you need a
Yeah,
specialist. So
I
it's
mean,
just more money.
she can, and maybe she should. I'm not offering an opinion on that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's unlikely that that would be an avenue that they take. That's a great question, NH
If
dude.
they did, I think they'd probably already been working on it, writing it. But
Yeah.
but because of the timing issue. But
Mm-hmm.
I think Bradel thinks he's going to win this. I just felt like the way he was answering today. He feels like there's a very good shot that she's getting out through the SJC. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'd say the big thing I'd ask everyone before you leave tonight, if you can consider donating to Kelsey Fitzsimmons, join her Facebook, share that Facebook, and also Karen Reed Civil. I would consider, making a donation there as well if you can, um, and just keep prayers and thoughts that Kelsey is getting out for Thanksgiving, like or Christmas even. Like I think we all need to just group prayer on that, put
Group
that
prayer.
positive thought, make it happen. I believe we can force that to happen just by thinking about it and wishing it and sending love to that family, to get her home soon.
Yeah, just give in the way that you give. Give of your heart, send prayers, send letters in accordance with the strict rules of the jail. Watch the content creators, give donations, and you could follow, if you wanted to, my paradigm, which is I also give to creators who talk about Kelsey because maybe it inspires them to continue to do so. Give to her, give, send, go. I'm going to be on YouTube moving forward, so I will make sure I make a point of posting her because I'm not on Facebook either anymore, but I'm going to be making a point of linking her fundraising to my YouTube posts. But I will say this, most importantly, it's just give of your knowledge. Tell someone, tell three people, let them tell three people, wear a Justice for Kelsey t-shirt, and support all of the causes that matter to you. Stay neutral on hot topic issues in your community. Like there's a lot of hot button topics and people beyond Kelsey in this community who are saying, don't support these people, don't watch these people. If you want to stay neutral, stay neutral. Be your own person. Don't follow what you're told to follow. And that independent mindedness will serve you better in the end. Have a moral compass. And hopefully, in the end, things will start to get better, not only on X, not only in your personal lives, but also for people like Karen Reed, for Kelsey, and for Aiden Carney, who's going through his own battles right now, and others. I just want to start seeing more peace in the community here, and I'm not seeing it. So I do hope that improves.
A lot of people battling everywhere, like top to bottom. It's crazy.
Yeah.
One thing I'd say is too much often, all of us, myself included, we do the rush to judgment without actually considering all the facts or even knowing all
Hmm.
the facts. And then a lot of times I feel like people are just always posting rumors
Hmm.
and they haven't even like asked anyone. It's so easy sometimes just to send that private message and say, "Hey, what do you actually know about this? I was going to post a post about you, but I don't know. I never asked you about it."
Yep,
That's what I kind of like get disappointed about. It's like
I do
you
too.
don't have to be so nasty and rush to judgment, and all of us, myself included. Maybe just calm
Yeah,
the hell down. And
and
sometimes like give each other grace. Like sometimes people get pissed off for a week or a day, and then they calm the fuck down.
I
Like
agree.
I
And
think
and
we all need
honestly,
that.
people misinterpret things and run
Yeah,
with it.
especially with
And
social media.
don't believe everything you read or you write, folks. I know I don't, and that's one of the reasons why I really do try to stay neutral on things because it's very easy to have rash and hasty reactions to things when you don't have all of the information. As far as
Right.
I'm concerned, it'll all come out someday.
Yeah. And then sometimes I do overreact to myself. I'll be the first to admit it. Let's just put it that
Yeah.
way.
But you
Um,
speak your mind, and honestly, I respect that about you. I really do. But people need to be emboldened in general to admit flaws about themselves or when they make their own decisions that are incorrect, or maybe they made a mistake and talk with other people about it. I think social media in general lends itself to human detachment, and I've seen it to the extreme and on steroids.
the whole thing, the algorithm, it encourages drama.
Yeah,
The serious topics, serious discussions that move things forward don't always
yeah.
get promoted there. It's the fights. Because that keeps people coming back. When you're angry, you keep coming back. If you've just learned something, you might be like, I need an hour to read this. I'll come back to it later. But
Yeah.
if it's something that's getting you agitated, you never leave. You just sit there going like that. So it's an evil of social media. Just that's the way it is. I want to thank you so much for being here, Laferio, Nan Gallagher. Do you have any final thoughts or anything that you didn't get to say
I
tonight?
said a lot, as people say. I'm an over talker, so I'm good. But it's been great to be here, and also I want to just wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Be healthy, safe, don't drink and drive. Talk to somebody at your dining table about Kelsey's case or about Karen's civil case or about the corruption going on in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Feel free to talk about what Aidan Carney is going through or even some of the issues facing content creators. Start discussions. It's the best way to spread information. I know I'm planning to do that. And I hope that you're all safe and well. And I'll see you on the other side of the holiday.
Thank you so much for being here, Attorney Nan Gallagher. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you soon on YouTube. And we'll be checking out your YouTube channel and following
Thank
your
you.
YouTube community, your posts over there as well.
Thanks. Have a great night, guys. Thanks, Mike, for having me. Take
Have a
care.
great night. Bye
Bye.
now. Attorney Nan Gallagher, I want to thank her so much for being here. That was great. It went by quickly, and I mean, look, we're on for 2 hours and what is it, like 35 minutes now? It's been a while. We covered a lot. That was great. I want to check in on the Karen Reed Defense Fund. We need some more donations tonight. It's 6365 right now. I hope it gets to 7 tonight. Let's get it to 7,000 tonight if we can. I'm gonna make another donation. Someone actually kicked me some money on Venmo last night. I'm gonna make another donation, hopefully tonight, if not tomorrow. But I hope people do kick into that Karen Reed civil case fundraiser. I'm not sure when my next show is. I'm probably gonna take some time off now, for at least this week. We'll see. I don't know. But I got some plans. I got some guests I want to bring back on the show. Haven't booked anything yet, but I got some ideas. What I want to do to end the show is I just got to replay this hearing today. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ruby. Oh, the issue outside of the U.S. I know, huh? We'll find out. We'll talk to Nick Rocco. If you haven't, maybe you can send Nick Rocco a message either on Facebook or Twitter. Let him know about that if he's not aware. He probably is. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. I wonder how do people from Europe usually give on fundraisers like that to America? There's got to be a way. Hmm. That's another good point about the. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching today. I'm glad you enjoyed the coverage today. All right, let's watch this and we'll check out. I want to thank everyone. Let me make sure I got all the super chats because there were some to. Oh, Sherry D said that's twice Mike in the bathroom. What's happening, Mike? I'm sorry, I'm talking about the bathroom too much, but I had to go. I drank too much creatine, and I got to say, I don't know if you know that, but in my past I had some bladder cancer, and so I don't always have the best bladder after that surgery. It's amazing I make it as long as I do on some of these shows. Sherry, now you know this. Now you know my weakness on here. I want to thank Jolie Douglas. Thank you so much for the donations tonight. Thank you very much. New Hampshire Dude as well. He made a few. And I want to thank Lindum 9600. And some new members, Charlie Lynn. Oh, she's not a new member. She's been here for 10 months. Sorry. 10 months. Thank you. What the Duck? She's coming through. Thank you, What the Duck. And I know you love Nan more. I'm glad that you love Nan more. Even though we're both Bridgewater dudes, we both graduated from Bridgewater State. And the 12 tattoos made me tonight, Jen. That was hilarious. Michelle, thank you as well. And G.I. Josie, wow, thank you so much tonight. LTL, the man, thank you. I think you redirected people tonight to us as well. Thank you for that. Mass at Heart, thank you. And Ocean Beach Ave, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member tonight. Awesome. Nice to get some new members in here. All right, I'm going to play this video to end it off. And I'll see you when I see you. Hopefully you have a good Thanksgiving. Hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving and enjoy the holiday and the short week if you work. And this was amazing to see too, to see Kelsey up close today. She looks different. She looks healthier. She looks like she's starting to return to health a little bit.
Hello, Your Honor, Timothy Bradle, on behalf of Kelsey Fitzsimmons.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, Martha Copeland, on behalf of Kelsey.
Judge, can I ask as a preliminary matter if Ms. Kelsey might be permitted to join us? Ms. Fitzsimmons might be permitted to join us at the council table.
No, I only do that for a change of plea, a trial, or an evidentiary motion to suppress, and I don't see why I should treat her. So the answer is she's here at your request, but no, I'm not going to sit in council. Otherwise, I have to allow that for everyone that presents a security concern. If I do it for one person, I have to be consistent.
All right, if I need some time with her, Judge, I'm just gonna.
Well, sure, of course you can. You can go talk to her.
Very good.
Okay, so this is on for trial assignment today. I indicated in the phone conference that we had back in October that we could try it anytime. So let's do that.
So Judge, a couple of things on that. We think that's a little premature for several reasons. I have 3 outstanding discovery motions that we should go on to talk about today, if that's all right with the court, that sort of are, stepping stones to getting ready for trial.
Have you filed?
Yes.
Okay.
So 2 of them were filed on August 26th.
Okay.
And the other one is, and I'm certainly happy to give counsel for Commonwealth some leeway. This was filed, I believe, last week, November 21st. And so if counsel needs more time on that one, I certainly don't have a problem with it. And I will grant you, I'll acknowledge that the Commonwealth's given me a pretty fair amount of information that we're going through. But as you can imagine, and as I know you know, that sort of begs further questions about more discovery.
Well, I have one motion here for specific discovery.
Well, Judge, we filed 2 motions on August 26th, and I have copies of them here.
And what are they entitled?
There's a motion for court order disclosure and release of arraignment, and there's a motion. The Commonwealth may well be in compliance with some of that or most of it, but and so those are really the first ones, Judge.
What is that?
Sorry.
Okay. The camera is allowed in the courtroom, but it has to be silent. No exceptions. Thank you.
The first one is the motion for exculpatory discovery, and that is essentially a Graham McFarland request regarding certifications by the officers, whether there's any prior incidents. And that is a predicate to a Rule 17 for that, so that we have a good faith basis, if any, to file a Rule 17 for any further information. And my brother's telling me that that's fully complied with.
Okay.
And I'll defer to him on that.
Okay.
No, I think I complied with my obligations under the.
Okay.
As far as that first motion, there are things in there that I in the first motion that I do not agree to.
Okay,
And we can go through them if you'd like, but other than that, we have a list of questions that we ask every potential witness, or police officer.
Right.
Database, but that has all been complied with.
okay.
But if he wants to talk about the first motion, I'm happy to do that. No action has been taken.
Which, when you say first, I've got three motions here.
Motion for exculpatory evidence.
Okay.
Exculpatory discussion.
So that's essentially what we're talking about, Judge, the Graham McFarland request. And, you know, it's also obviously a Brady request as well. So I think it's more than just, you know, Graham McFarland. It's any exculpatory evidence that's known to the Commonwealth, whether it's the Commonwealth, the prosecution team, or
Well,
the police team as well.
so Mr. Gubitosi, the motion for exculpatory discovery,
Yes.
what is it that you object to?
I object to number 1C,
Okay,
number 1D, number 1H, I,
okay, hold on.
and J.
C, D, H, I, and J.
And then that's on number 1.
Right.
Number 2, he wants me to certify in writing that I have made inquiry of every prosecutor in my office for all items and information favorable to the defense. I don't think I have an obligation to do that.
Right.
We did that on every single case. We do have a database. We do have a process. We do ask each individual officer these questions, but we do that on every single case
Right.
in the county. That's thousands of cases to some 80 some odd prosecutors
Right.
Every day.
Well, and it doesn't include all of the prosecutors that have passed through the office, that have come and gone over the course of the years. Are you suggesting, Mr. Bradel, that the Commonwealth needs to contact each and every prosecutor that has ever worked in the district attorney's office throughout the officer's tenure?
No, Judge. I'm
Well,
not.
that's what the motion asks for.
No, it doesn't, Judge. It asks them to have, maybe they could use a computer database. Maybe they can log, just like, you know, lawyers have record-keeping responsibilities. Lawyers have conflict checks. There's all sorts of things that are precedent for this kind of a thing. When a prosecutor has a case where some questionable police activity has arisen, prosecutors can easily document that in this case, Officer Jones was found to be not credible by Judge Smith.
Well, I understand that,
Be
but
logged.
let me start with I. Whether the officer has signed a search warrant, I probably see 2 Frank's hearing requests a month in this session, 2 or 3. Most of them are not allowed. Occasionally they are. And just because there is a Frank's hearing does not mean that there was a finding that anyone gave any false information.
Sure.
So how would anyone determine that?
Well, Judge, again, these are record-keeping requests. And
But who keeps a database of that
so
for the last 10 years?
when you're a prosecutor in a district attorney's office and you finish a case, you're required to follow office procedures to close out the file.
Right.
And there's no reason why a prosecutor's office ought to exercise willful blindness about these issues.
So you feel that it's up to you to decide how the district attorney's office conducts its business?
It's up to me to decide.
Did you work in the Essex County DA's office?
Judge, I did not work in the
Okay,
Essex County
so
DA's office, but I do
From
know a
when,
little bit about it.
what are you speaking about when you say that this is how a DA's office ought to be conducting itself? What's the basis for that?
Judge, okay. I don't think it's a obscure proposition, Your Honor, that when a public agency such as the district attorney's office has to close out a case, that they have to comply with record-keeping obligations under the law,
But
under FOIA, under record-keeping for all sorts of things about what happened with the case.
Well, I understand, but Mr. Gubitosi has represented that he's gone back and searched. They have a process. I'm sure that he'll advise you as to what the process is. And if you want to critique the process, that's up to you. But in terms of them producing evidence that is in their possession, custody, and control, he can only produce what he can search for. And the fact that you disagree, maybe you do, with the way in which they keep records or the type of records that they keep is not an issue that I'm going to decide. I don't know of any case law that says that I'm the one, or you for that matter, to decide how the district attorney's office keeps records. And in fact, I'm not going to order anybody to retroactively go back and search records from, I don't know how long the officers who are witnesses in this case have been police officers in this county, but do you know, Mr. Gubitosi, off the top of your head?
And one of them is 20-something years?
Yeah, so I'm not sure that I can ask them to search records they don't have, but there is whether the officer has ever attended or presented at a law enforcement training by the private vendor.
Just before we jump off of that one,
Yeah,
all the Commonwealth has to do is ask the officers. There's 4 officers that were at the scene. They can ask 4 officers, were you ever involved in a Frank's hearing? There are ways to do this. We don't have to act like this is some obscure thing, Your Honor. This is exculpatory evidence. We have every right to all these things under Graham McFarland and under Brady.
what case says you have a right to find out whether any police officer on any case has ever refused to answer questions?
A police officer in our case, Your Honor.
No, in this case, what is the precedent? You've got to cite, where is the case or statute that says that a police department has to disclose to you or to anyone else when an officer declines to answer questions? There are a lot of reasons for that, I can assure you. And I'm not aware of any records that are kept of that. And I can assure you that it would never be admissible under any circumstances. So I'm having a hard time with the concept that the DA's office or the police department has to supply you with the fact that an officer 15 years ago declined to answer questions after a shooting at the scene, but 2 days later answered the questions, for example. Happens quite frequently. So I am reluctant to say, I doubt there's any police agency that keeps records like that. I don't know of any, but certainly the district attorney's office doesn't keep records like that.
Your Honor, I certainly am not telling you anything you don't know, but just put it out there on the record. When an officer takes the fifth, so to speak, it's been found that a truthful answer would incriminate them. So it's incriminating information.
Who's made that finding? That's an interesting concept because I probably represented thousands of officers at interviews, and I yet to have or even hear of someone making a determination that that person had a Fifth Amendment privilege or not. My experience has been that the department offers people a rights form, and if the department has made or ascertained that the person has a self-incrimination right, far be it from a lawyer to question that when the prosecuting or investigating agency is doing that. So again,
it's built into the law of the Fifth Amendment, Your Honor, that you can only take the Fifth Amendment when a truthful answer will incriminate you.
That's assuming you're ordered to, and that's assuming that the order also encompasses the nuances presented by the state constitution, which requires transactional immunity to overcome it under Carney versus Springfield. So it's not as simple as you make it sound. But let's get back to the fundamental issue. Does the district attorney's office keep records of any officers that have ever invoked their rights at any proceeding that the district attorney's office is aware of?
No.
Okay. And if, with regard to the police department, Mr. Bradel, I'm not aware of whether they keep records of that or not, but I am certainly familiar with the fact that even if that were true of a particular officer, it certainly is not admissible.
Judge Graham McFarland has a whole host of things that are not admissible, or an optimistic defense counsel might say not yet admissible, but that's not a exclusionary factor, Your Honor. So you can't really go there. And these are all, we don't need to pretend like the officers are in Alaska. They're down the street.
No, I
The
understand.
Commonwealth can ask them all these things.
But does that case say that all records pertaining to an officer, any officer who has ever invoked his or her rights, either under the Fifth Amendment or Article 12, records have to be kept and they have to be disclosed? Does the case address that?
It does not say anything about.
Does the case address whether or not an officer who is the subject of a pending internal affairs investigation unrelated to the matter that is before the court, that those records need to be produced?
Yes.
Okay. And what about whether the officer has ever testified in a motion to suppress, which the motion was allowed because the officer it's pretty broad in terms of violating the defendant's rights, but assuming we could refine it a little bit,
Sure.
Does the case say that you must produce that? And who's charged with keeping those records?
Your Honor, Brady says we have to produce that. The Constitution says we have to.
On any motion to suppress that was ever allowed?
If an officer is found to be not credible.
Well, see, we're talking.
Well, hold on. Those are two different things here. The fact that a motion to suppress is allowed does not necessarily mean that an officer was found to have lied or made false statements. There are two different things. People make mistakes. The purpose of the exclusionary rule is to deter police conduct, but not every motion to suppress is allowed because a judge finds that an officer lied. Yes, the motions are allowed because in the court's judgment, for example, a stop was unjustified, but that doesn't mean that the court found that an officer lied. In fact, I'd say most of the time that's not the case.
We're not talking about a legal ruling about an officer's conduct. We're talking about when an officer's been found not credible. And that's what we're looking for, Judge.
Well, does your office keep records of decisions by judges saying that officers made false statements or are not credible?
Yes.
Okay.
And so,
Yeah.
and he's being accused because what he's writing in this motion is much different than what he's saying here.
Did you check the database for what I just
Yes,
outlined?
and we asked these officers, and he knows this, we asked these officers a whole host of questions.
Okay.
About whether they have convictions or convictions to
Sure.
facts about criminal offenses, I'll just adverse credibility findings against them from any court.
Okay.
Pending criminal investigations into your conduct, findings that you have engaged in bias, racial,
Okay.
profiling, discrimination.
Okay.
Findings that you have engaged in untruthfulness or misconduct implicating credibility.
And have those questions been asked of the witnesses in this case?
Yes. and
Have you provided any information that's responsive to those questions?
there's all
What's the
kinds-
complaint, Mr. Bradle?
Well, that's what I'm asking, is if it's complied with. And
Just said it was.
saying it was, and counsel got up and seemed to be wanting to correct me on that. And so here we are.
Okay.
So is it complied with or
Well, it's
not?
on the record. What else do you want?
The motion speaks for itself, Your Honor. I just want to know what the Commonwealth is objecting to.
Well,
They gave us a list and we can go through it.
the list of questions that you asked?
Counsel objected to 2C. Have they ever refused to answer questions citing their constitutional rights? We had a little bit of a debate about that. I think that's judge a firing offense. I believe that assistant attorneys general have been fired for that. I believe officers have been fired for taking the fifth.
Really?
I think it's
In the absence of
exculpatory.
transactional immunity, officers have been fired?
I think it's
You should read
exculpatory.
Carney versus Springfield, and I think you'll find that you're incorrect.
Well, Judge, I think that an officer that takes the fifth in this case about something else is saying, if I answer that question, a truthful answer will incriminate me. So I
Well-
think under Graham McFarland, I think that's certainly
The case doesn't say
exculpatory
it.
and discoverable.
The case doesn't say it. I don't agree with you. Carney versus Springfield says otherwise, okay? And I don't agree. So, Mr. Gubitosi, have you provided a list of the questions that you have asked to the officer, or can you, or will you provide the list of questions that you ask to defense counsel?
Of course.
Okay. And Mr. Bradle, if the answer to all of those questions is no, and they've asked them, I'm not seeing anything that would indicate otherwise in this case, then you need to examine the questions. And if you feel there's something that wasn't covered, then you can refine your motion. But I am not going to allow and I don't think I agree with your view of the law, that whether or not an officer is refused to answer questions, citing constitutional rights is something that you're entitled to. In the immediate aftermath of critical incidents, officers often advantage themselves of the fact that the police department does not have transactional immunity so that they can have an opportunity to speak, sometimes within 24 or 48 hours. Happens all the time. And in fact, officers are often interviewed thoroughly thereafter. So the case does not say that if you refuse to answer questions, it is fireable. In fact, it says quite the contrary. The police department does not have the ability to grant transactional immunity. Only the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the district attorney's office, or the attorney generals have that ability. So to suggest that a chief of police or commissioner could fire someone for invoking their rights without giving them transactional immunity is incorrect. And so as to the extent you're asking for that, it's denied. Now,
The next one is D.
yeah,
Whether the officer is subject of a pending internal affairs investigation or any internal affairs investigations into the officer's conduct, whether these have resulted in sustained findings of misconduct. I'm not sure why there's an objection there.
Well, the way it reads is different than the way he said it.
okay,
If there is a sustained finding, absolutely.
sure,
And,
okay,
and there hasn't been in this case.
okay,
With any of the officers that are involved.
okay. So that's the answer to that. And as far as the other questions, it seems to me H and I are covered by the questionnaire, but J,
Well, no, if I might just, H and I, if you're going to deny them, but they're different than what he's saying.
no, I is only, you only need to respond to I if there's been a finding by a judge that there was a misstatement in the search warrant affidavit, not whether or not defense counsel has filed a Frank's motion, because that happens routinely, and routinely the matters don't even reach an evidentiary hearing. And even if they do, it often doesn't result in a finding that there was any untruthfulness. So yes, if there has been a Frank's finding by a judge that an officer, any of these officers, made false statements in a search warrant affidavit, yes, you've asked about that, and yes, that has to be produced.
Of course.
Okay.
But H, if we can just get back to that, because we talked about that a little. And if the way counsel is talking about it, if there's been an adverse finding of credibility, of course we turn that.
Yes,
That's a no-brainer.
Right.
We do that.
But-
But that's not what that said.
no, I am not going to order the production of any motions to suppress that were allowed for any reason. First of all, it's almost impossible to ascertain that. And secondly, how many district courts in this county, Mr. Gubitosi? 7? Well,
Yeah, but you can ask the officer, Your Honor.
Well,
The officer is
he
right
has,
there. You
and
can
if
say-
there, I agree with you. If there was a finding that the officer made a false statement, you're entitled to that. But the fact that an officer thought that he or she had reasonable suspicion to conduct a pat frisk and a judge disagrees does not mean that the officer was found to be untruthful. But
I
yes,
agree with you. We don't
in the
need-
course
we don't
of-
need to debate it. I agree with you.
okay, so I think we're fine. Now, Jay, you know,
I just have no idea.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, and then they can answer that. They don't know about it, they don't know about it. That's the answer. I'm happy with that.
Okay. Now, is there, Mr. Gubitosi, when did you get meeting 35, the motion for specific discovery?
Friday.
Okay. Are you prepared to respond to it?
I can try to do that.
Okay. Is there anything in there that you object to?
Yes.
Okay, and what is that?
Again, there are portions of number 2. And the Commonwealth will provide all witness statements.
Okay.
As pursuant to 14, just as this overbroad.
Okay.
number 4A, excuse me, 4 is asking for any and all footage from the North Andover Police Department on June 30th, during the time of which Ms. Fitzsimmons was at the station. And we've already talked about that. They asked me a bit ago. They didn't ask me in time, so the footage is gone. But it just doesn't save longer than I think it's 30 days.
Okay. If something doesn't exist,
But
then,
the last paragraph, the last sentence says, the name and contact information of any officer that interacted or observed Ms. Fitzsimmons at the time.
okay,
Well, she has that information. Who she interacted with
Right.
November 30th of 2025 at the station, so that's something.
well, first of all, maybe I'm missing something, but other than in the interview room, when someone's advised that they're being recorded and you know, they're taped, I'm not sure there's,
No, I think this is, she didn't go to the PD after the event, she went to the hospital.
okay,
For the event, it's my understanding, and this is only from what defense counsel told me.
Yeah.
That she was at the station earlier that day.
oh, okay.
Had done something, I can't remember what, during the day.
Was that the station earlier, Mr.
But she
Bradel?
knows who she interacted with.
Okay, is June 30th the date of the incident, by the way? Okay. And when was she at the station and for what purpose? What time does the incident happen?
So Your Honor, the incident is, it's in the afternoon of the
Yeah.
30th. And prior to that, Ms. Fitzsimmons was at the North Andover Police Department for a CPR recertification.
I see.
She brought the baby with her.
Okay,
So we wanted the video
Yeah.
from the station. And on August 26th, I think the Commonwealth's going to have an issue with this, okay? On August 26th, we filed these arraignment motions.
Right.
Asking, we put them in abeyance except for some of the more obvious ones like
Right.
preserve notes, preserve video.
sure.
Tell people who are video holders to hold on to the video. That was August 26th. So the
Okay.
Commonwealth was on notice as of August 26th.
Yep.
The video, I am fairly certain, was present and available then when they were given notice of this motion. And I believe the court allowed those preliminary requests.
Well, there are two issues there. First of all, though, when you say August 26th, was that filed in this court
Correct.
when she was arraigned?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Gubitosi, do you know, first of all, I don't know because not that familiar with the North Andover police station, whether or not they even have cameras that would have videoed the presence of the defendant at the station on that day.
They do.
Okay. And do you know how often those are recorded over?
Not at the present time.
Okay.
I did. When we spoke about it, I called.
Back in August?
It was on, I can't remember.
Okay, okay. So the issue then becomes whether or not the request was made. First issue is whether or not you're confident the video doesn't exist today.
Correct.
Okay. The first question is, I think that the defense counsel is entitled to know when the video, how often they tape over. I mean, I hear.
I did tell him that.
Right.
When I found out, I just can't remember right now.
But you can.
I can just suggest, Judge, if
Yeah.
I may, I looked at, and I counsel's trying to accommodate, so I
Right.
appreciate that. But on 9/18, counsel told me that they only had it back to July 5th,
Okay. And you made the request on.
26.
Right, but that doesn't answer the last question, which is whether or not at the time you made the request, it still existed or not.
Right.
But Mr. Gubitosi, that should be easily ascertained.
Absolutely.
Sure,
I
okay.
think if you do the math, it looks like it is. And again, I appreciate the Commonwealth's efforts to try to get it. But it looks like on
Yeah.
8/26, if you do the same math, 9/18, it goes back to July 5th. 8/26, you're going to be within the window of.
You may, I don't know. I don't know. Every video system that I've ever heard of, I've seen some that go 3 days, 7 days, 30 days. I don't know. But that's easily ascertainable. And Mr. Gubitosi is going to tell you about it, and then you can make of it what
I
you need to
appreciate
make of it.
And there's no motion before the court on
Yeah.
it. I just wanted to
Okay.
actually bring it up, Your Honor, that it's very important to the defense that we have that
All right.
video.
Anything else we can, in this motion, Mr. Gubitosi, that you object to that we can address today?
Yes.
Please, yeah.
Number 6 is concerning disciplinary records for firefighters that responded to the home address of the defendant or the Mass General Hospital.
And your objection to that is?
So the firefighters are not part of the prosecution team. If they're not in care, custody, control.
Yeah. I mean, you can file a Rule 17 for that, Mr.
Very good, Your Honor. That's perfectly
Bradle. I
fine.
think that's right. What else, Mr. Gubitosi? Anything else in this motion?
Number 9.
Yep.
All statements, including text, emails, voicemails, writings of like the shooting or among any civilian witnesses, police or prosecutors. I would just say it's overbroad.
Yeah. How, Mr. Bradle, how can the Commonwealth produce messages between people who are not, civilian witnesses?
Sure, I understand, Your Honor. The request should be really a little narrower, I suppose, which is whenever there's a police prosecution team member in the conversation,
Well,
then
that's
it should
different. I
be
agree.
discoverable.
Right.
So
So statements, Mr. Gubitosi, of people who are,
There are statements that
yeah.
I'm obligated to provide in Rule
Yeah.
13, absolutely.
Okay.
I agree with that, but not that.
and just, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was moving on.
Just one thing on that before we move on, Your Honor,
Yeah,
is
sure.
that,
Yeah.
it's our view, we viewed on the security video from the scene that officers are texting and calling all over the place at the scene, quite understandably.
Sure.
But we just want the text messages, and we have information that there were communications between the father of the child and the police officers leading up to serving this warrant, leaving up the restraining order, rather, serving the restraining order, leading up to that. And there are communications that are between the father and the
Okay.
police that we want,
well, if
which would
any
certainly
of
be
those
statements.
materials that are in the possession, custody, or control of the Commonwealth or the North Andover Police Department need to be produced. I can't, it's a little bit broad in the sense that, if there are people texting that the Commonwealth doesn't know about. it's
I
kind of hard
agree,
for them.
Judge. I don't even want to, yeah, I can cut to the chase on that.
Let me
Statements
suggest
that involve the
something
police and prosecution team.
here. I'm well aware of the fact that there's some discovery issues here, but they don't seem insurmountable to me. And they seem like something that could be worked out. The defendant's in custody. You are and have, as is your right, litigating the issue of hard detention. And my solution to that, it's not my decision one way or the other, but it's in front of the SJC. But I feel that this is the type of case that is tried in the district court every day. It's a serious case. All cases are serious, but it's not complicated. And I want to set a trial date sometime early next year, and we'll get another discovery compliance date in a few weeks. Mr. Gubitosi starting a trial December 1st. So maybe in late December, we can have another compliance date if it works for everybody to try to iron these things out, because, she is in custody. I'm cognizant of that. And so my solution whenever, and we deal with this all the time, we spend sometimes more time dealing with the issues of pretrial conditions and release. And in the time we spend doing that, we could try the case. So this case looks to me, and I could be wrong, that it could be tried in a couple of days. And she's in custody. So if the case is tried and she's found not guilty, that's the end of it. If the case is tried and she's found guilty, that's a whole other issue. But the fairest thing, it seems to me, is to try the case as promptly as we can. So before your schedules get any more backed up, I want to set a trial date. You can always revisit it, but what about sometime in late January, February?
That's very fair, Your Honor, and I appreciate you saying that. And I wanted to ask maybe the first week of February.
Sure. Mr. Gubitosi, how's that work for you?
I have a murder starting on the 26th of January, so if we can go to, I could do this the week of the 9th.
Okay.
That's fine.
Does that work for you, Mr. Braden?
Yes.
Ms. Attorney Coakley?
Always with the caveat that I haven't checked with any witnesses.
Of course.
Sure.
And but this way we have a target date. Everybody can check with their witnesses. We can find out and iron that problem out now. And if there's somebody who needs an adjustment for a few days, a week, one way or the other, we can work on that. But the longer we wait to do it, the more backed up we get. And again, we're going to prioritize this case. She's in custody. Maybe she will be at that time, maybe not. I don't know. But at best, for your client, she's going to be on restrictive conditions, and that's a factor as well. So let's get a trial date now. Let's shoot for that. We'll schedule it for trial on February 9th. I think that's very reasonable. And let's set another discovery compliance date that everybody can live with sometime in December. Mr. Gubitosi, you expect to be tied up for a couple of weeks?
Yep, I think I can, the week of the 15th, I should be.
Okay.
I was going to ask for maybe the 18th along those lines. I think we're in the same process.
We can do that. Sure. We'll do the 18th. And my purpose that day.
Sorry, Judge, just a calendar issue. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Judge, 18 is a tough day, it turns out. Could we do the 19th?
I'll do it. Okay. If Mr. Gubitosi is available. Okay. We'll do it. Now, and I want you to have a conference, which I know you will, to see if you can work these things out or to refine or narrow the motion. And we'll revisit those things that day. I have a Zoom that's coming from a different Norfolk that we have to get to right now. So it's either that or we get together late this afternoon.
Perfectly fine, Your Honor.
Okay.
I think we can resolve much of the rest of it.
Now, as far as your request, the last thing I'm going to cover is your request regarding transportation of the defendant. I allowed it today. I'm going to do it on a date-by-date basis. I mean, if the next date is discovery motions, I don't think that it's necessary to transport her. If you want us to try to do a Zoom, we'll attempt to do it. But the goal here, again, in fairness to the defendant and everyone else, is to get the case tried promptly. So we'll have a hearing that day. I'll try to, or me or someone will iron out all of these issues if we can, and let's keep moving. I don't expect, doesn't sound like you intend to litigate a motion to suppress in this case.
Correct, Your Honor.
So that removes one common obstacle to getting this done. So working with that, I think everybody's being reasonable in terms of time. Why don't you have a further conference, exchange written responses so that there's down the road, there's no misinterpretation, and let's see each other again in a few weeks. And I'll order a Zoom, Habe, if we can do that. Okay? All right.
I think that'll be fine. If there's any issue, we'll file appropriate papers.
And if you have a narrower motion, or you can narrow the issues, file another motion, and I'll make sure that I get a look at it, or somebody will.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Have a great holiday. All right.
Thank you, same to you.
Okay.
Judge, would that be a 12 noon as well, the same thing, or does that?
My boss has to tell me that right here. Okay, she says noon, then we'll do it. Okay.
Welcome to Zoom, government. Enter your participant ID followed by pound.